Good evening. My name is Taunya Phillips, and I am pleased to have served as president of the UK Alumni Association in 2019-2020. You may remember April 16, 2020 was our original Hall of Distinguished Alumni induction date, but due to circumstances, we postponed the recognition twice, thus bringing us to tonight's induction ceremony. On behalf of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's dinner and Hall of Distinguished Alumni induction ceremony. It is good to see you, those in person, as well as those in our virtual audience joining online for the first time. For the last 155 years, new discoveries and fond memories have been made on our beautiful campus. We celebrate another milestone tonight, the 55th anniversary of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni Recognition Ceremony. This special recognition ceremony for distinguished alumni was established in 1965 to commemorate the university centennial. Tonight, we reflect on our accomplished alumni and celebrate another outstanding class of talented individuals. Counting the 2020 class, 333 individuals have been inducted into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni, quite a select group. To commemorate the storied history of this prestigious program, the current and past recipients who are with us tonight have been given a commemorative lapel pin. Before our program gets underway, I wanted to remind tonight's attendees about an indoor mask policy at the University of Kentucky. Please wear masks during tonight's program other than while actively eating and drinking. For our inductees, masks may be removed at the podium while making remarks. Thank you for your assistance. I am pleased to invite President Eli Capilouto to the podium to give words of congratulations to our newest inductees. Dr. Capilouto is the 12th president of the University of Kentucky and began his 10th year of serving the university in July. President Capilouto often says that students are the center of everything we do at UK. You can see that commitment across campus. At the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, UK built a modern public health infrastructure that allowed students, faculty, and staff to return to campus safely. This return to campus was in many ways made possible by the campus transformation that has taken place under President Capilouto's leadership. 6 million square feet of brand new, innovative space allowed for classes to take place in buildings like the brand new Gatton Student Center and so many more locations throughout campus. As the University of Kentucky returns to an in-person residential experience this fall, President Capilouto and his team are focusing even more intently on student success and student support, empowering students to achieve their wildest ambitions. Dr. Capilouto, thank you for joining us for this event.
Taunya, thank you and welcome everyone. It is an honor to be with you tonight. And as Tanya's noted, we started this over 55 years ago, and what a wonderful tradition. Great universities honor those who honor them, and this is an occasion where we live up to that tradition. And our UK Alumni Association, besides putting this event on, wonderfully connects 286,000 alumni worldwide to their alma mater and to each other. If there's anything we've learned over the past 18 months, it's how important these personal connections are. And if you look across our campus today, I'm sure you've noticed that much has changed. Taunya noted at 6 million square feet, $2.8 billion of investment to transform our classrooms, residence halls, research facilities, and spaces that we're able to gather in, like this magnificent hall this evening. And why did we do this? It was not for the bricks and mortar. It was to provide our students with a 21st century experience so that they will be ready to live and compete in a 21st century society and economy. So a lot has changed since we opened the doors to this grand dream 156 years ago. But what has not changed and what will never change is the covenant we have with the Commonwealth. And that is our commitment to always work to advance Kentucky. And we especially stepped forward, we stepped up, we met the moment in this COVID-19 pandemic. Taunya noted we built a modern public health infrastructure. It was called Health Corps. It kept faculty, staff, students safe. We supported our community in so many ways. Kroger Field COVID-19 vaccine clinic opened in January and in a matter of weeks administered 250,000 vaccines to people across Kentucky. We brought shots of healing and hope into communities through our mobile vaccine clinic that targeted underserved communities. And we did ask our community to wear masks and observe other safety measures. Because of these collective efforts, we have safely reopened the campus. Students can sit side by side at the feet of great faculty and learn. And our student symphonies and choral groups can stir audiences, stir their souls. And our researchers in laboratories and in and of community can continue to find solutions to seemingly intractable problems in Kentucky. And I would be remiss this evening if I did not recognize the heroes at UK Healthcare. So every day, imagine every day of the past few months in our hospital have been a number of people that equal all of you here assembled tonight, fighting COVID, on ventilators, ECMO support that takes over your vital organs, and those healthcare workers who are working 12-hour shifts, fatigued, exhausted, but they persevere. And as one of them said the other day, and you know this virus is cruel, it separates a family when someone is so ill. I heard one of our physicians say the other day, regardless of the situation, no one here is going to die alone. So whatever we face at the University of Kentucky, we will continue to move forward by harnessing what we call the power of we. It is service above self. And all of you are part of that power of we. It is a precious legacy you have upheld and that you have been part of extending. And in that spirit, I'd like to recognize some very special members of the UK family who are with us this evening. Some as guests of our honorees, who we're going to hear wonderful things about later in the evening, and many who support this university through service as our board of trustees. So I'd like to recognize these individuals, ask each of them to stand, remain standing, and I ask everyone to hold their applause until the end. First, Senator Mitch McConnell, whose advocacy and support has made possible much of what we do as Kentucky's land-grant flagship institution. Former UK President Charles Wethington. I often say that success has many fathers and mothers, and everything we've done here has been possible because of those who came before us. And a number of members of our board of trustees are with us this evening. They are trusted advisors to me. They're so committed to this university and the mission of advancing Kentucky. We have with us Paula Pope, Mike Christian, Derek Ramsey, Sandy Shuffett, and Rachel Webb. Please join me in welcoming and thanking these individuals. And of course, we are grateful to the new inductees to this Hall of Distinguished Alumni as well. And some could not be with us tonight, and some are with us in the form of blessed memory. But I'd like all those individuals who are representing or being inducted tonight, please stand and let us recognize you. So you represent our purpose and calling as the university for Kentucky. And you too are committed to uplifting those around you and advancing Kentucky. And you have demonstrated what it means to live a life of meaning and purpose. You embody that calling. The 2020 class is diverse in its range of accolades and achievements, but they each share a common characteristic. They make us proud to call them UK alumni. So we have individuals here tonight from disciplines across the academic spectrum. Our inductees have been honored and recognized with prestigious awards, including Academy Awards, Pulitzer Prizes, Emmy Awards, and so many more. And there are a diversity of paths and a broad array of achievements in this room. I'll mention a few. Becoming an effective political leader, writing nationally recognized novels and articles, working in front of and behind the camera, discovering new innovations and transforming various spaces, holding great leadership roles across a broad variety of organizations, founding successful corporations, and so much more. We are grateful to call you members of the UK family. Thank you for the example you set for our students, most of whom you will never know, but who will seek to follow your footsteps on the ambitious and meaningful path that you have made for them to follow. So congratulations on this honor. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, President Capilouto. Good evening, everyone. I am Janie McKenzie-Wells, and I'm pleased to be serving as treasurer of your UK Alumni Association this year. As we reflect on our various and special university moments, the Hall of Distinguished Alumni recognitions from various years come to mind. Congratulations to all of this year's inductees. You are joining a very special group of UK alumni and as part of the UK alumni family. I'd also like for us at this time to remember inductees as well as our alumni and our friends of the university who are no longer with us. As President Capilouto also says, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. Tonight's program is evidence of the important foundation that was laid by those who came to the University of Kentucky before us. Their vision and their accomplishments helped shape our beloved institution into the dwelling it is today. This year's celebration is a unique one, as he referred to, because of the delayed timing and in light of the global pandemic. Many in our alumni family and campus community have suffered loss and endured pain for the last 18 months. May we pause now for a brief moment of silence to remember, to reflect, and to give thanks for their lives. Thank you. And have a wonderful evening.
The Hall is an interesting composite of successful University of Kentucky graduates.
I look at this Hall of Distinguished Alumni as something extraordinarily special and reflective of the University of Kentucky itself. It's important because it allows us to recognize the high-quality education that we received here and allows us then to move on to serve, whether it be in other academic institutions, in the professions, in government, no matter where or how we ended up in a certain place.
To be honored by my own alumni association is just an extremely high honor, because what we hear is that the man in his own land is not a prophet. And I've felt that because I've had a chance to travel many different locations. It's always been so well received. But when you're well received at home, it has some special meaning to it. And so this is probably this is the greatest honor that I've had, to be part of this association.
To be part of the Hall, I've got to think back to my growing up days. My mom and dad owned a 5 and 10 cent store in a small community neighborhood in northern Kentucky. I had a brother who was very smart. He had all kinds of scholarship offers. Scholarships were never mentioned when I was around because my 9th grade teacher sent a note home and said that Peter has a diminished attention span. Today it'd be an attention deficit disorder, and it's not likely that he will be good college material. So that was kind of my beginning. So I thought, well, I'll try sports, and maybe I'll get there that way. But my coach said that, Pete, 2 things about you: you're small, but you're slow. So I was a long shot to go to college under any circumstance, and to have done it and to receive this kind of an honor, it's just absolutely incredible.
You know, when I first got the call that I had been selected as a member of the Hall, it was one of excitement. It was one of disbelief, maybe. Me? Why me?
Yeah, when I first got the notification, I thought that was the wrong address. That it wasn't really for me. But it was such a great honor. It was just, you just have to stand up and be proud. And I didn't even have an appreciation at that time for the quality of individuals who have made it to this level, and it's even more meaningful now.
When I first learned that I was going to be inducted, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Very humbled, and learned and understood of the individuals who had already been inducted or were being inducted at the same time I was going to be. So again, I was very humbled and very proud to be part of a distinguished group of people.
And when I received the call, I asked for some information, and they said, well, you can invite some of your close friends. Before you know it, we invited over 90 people, and 90 came. So, I mean, they were like me. They were shocked to think that somebody like me could be in the Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
It speaks wonders for how good this university really is. And no matter what area that you wish to select, and if you look broadly at our distinguished alumni group, they represent all facets of the university.
Well, I'm part of a group of people that are amazing to me. When you go down and look at the list of the people who have achieved this or have been awarded this, I don't know if I belong in this list. The people are just amazing what they've accomplished.
It's a very diverse group of people that are in this Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Amazing individuals in all spheres of work, but they have brought to the table their expertise, their education, their passions.
But when I think of the people that are members of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni, they are role models, and that's what I think of when I think of the people and the diversity and the contributions that they made to our society.
They represent Kentucky to the nation, to the world for that matter, and certainly to the Commonwealth.
Congratulations to all the new members of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
Congratulations, and welcome to a group of individuals who take great pride in this wonderful event and this wonderful opportunity for you all as individuals.
Congratulations. Obviously, you're all decision makers. You've made big decisions and you've made a big difference in many people's lives.
I hope you feel, as I did, the pride that we all have in UK, and that we go forth every day and tell the story of this university and what it means to us and our success.
Welcome to the UK Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
Welcome to the UK Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
Welcome to the UK Hall of Distinguished Alumni.
Good evening. My name is Paula Leach Pope, and I am a past president of the UK Alumni Association and a current alumni trustee. And I'm privileged to have served as chairwoman of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni Committee. And I hope that you will continue enjoying your dinner this evening. Please join me in thanking Jacob Coleman for the beautiful piano music he provided during dinner. And Ariel Reheyo, who gave our call to the post this evening. They both are from the School of Music. This year's newest members of the UK Hall of Distinguished Alumni are joining an exceptional group of individuals who have received the highest honor bestowed by the association. The 27 alumni we're about to induct into the hall will bring the total number of honorees to 333. As noted by Taunya, this year commemorates the 55th anniversary of the first induction ceremony held in 1965. Before we begin the presentations, it's my honor to recognize some special guests with us tonight. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing until everyone has been introduced. And please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Again, thank you for joining us, President Capilouto. We also have a number of university administrators and college deans with us this evening. And please stand as a group and be recognized. I also ask all past presidents of the UK Alumni Association to stand. And would all past and current members of the UK Alumni Association's Board of Directors and the Leadership Advisory Council stand as well, please. There is one more special group that I want to recognize at this time, the current members of the Hall of Distinguished Alumni who have come to be with us again this evening. Would you please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all have been introduced? Again, please hold your applause until everyone has been recognized. From the class of 2015, John R. Guthrie, Peter Perlman, and Dr. James W. May. From the class of 2005, Trudy Webb Banta. From the class of 2000, C.W. Curris and W. James Post. From the class of 1995, Charles T. Wethington, Jr. And from the class of 1965, the very first class, Jack J. Early, who is a young 96 years old and with us this evening. We welcome you tonight. You honor us with your presence. And finally, thanks to all of you who are here this evening and those who are watching online to recognize the honorees. Your presence in support of this event is appreciated. One of the rewarding advantages of chairing this committee is the opportunity to learn more about the outstanding individuals we are honoring here tonight through the committee selection process. The committee began its work in early 2019 with a long list of nominees for consideration. After several meetings and much deliberation and reviewing many documents, the committee finally arrived at the selection of the 27 graduates who are being honored this evening. I would also like to recognize our committee members: Jennifer Barber, Dr. Mike Christian, Judge Jennifer Kaufman, Franklin Ferris Jr., Dr. Sonia Feast Price, Cami Grant, Jack Guthrie, Tom Hammond, Tom Harris, Dr. Jeff Okerson, Taunya Phillips, Mike Ritchie, Jill Smith, Reese Terry Jr., Rachel Webb, Dr. Charles Wethington, and Dr. Emery Wilson. Would you all please stand and be recognized? Now for the part of the program we have all been waiting for the introduction of the 27 new inductees into the University of Kentucky Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Reading the citations this evening and announcing each inductee will be Amy Jones Timoney, UK Creative Services Director, and Carl Nathy, former UK Public Relations Officer and the voice of Kroger Field. And we hope we hear him say, "First down Kentucky" a lot tomorrow morning. Amy and Carl, thank you for your participation in tonight's program. Inductees, as your name is announced, please come forward and approach the stage to your right. When your name is announced, and please come forward and approach the stage there, and you'll be joined on the platform by Taunya Phillips. You are encouraged to respond with brief remarks following the presentation. We now turn the program over to our citation announcement.
Henry B. Bub Asman Jr. received a Bachelor of Arts in Telecommunications at the College of Communication and Information in 1971. Henry B. Bub Asman Jr. of Union, Kentucky is a two-time Academy Award-winning sound editor. He spent 38 years editing the sound for more than 30 films for filmmaker Clint Eastwood, and about 40 more films for various other directors in Hollywood. He and his co-editor, Alan Murray, received 6 Academy Award nominations for sound editing, winning Oscars in the category of Best Achievement in Sound Editing for the films Letters from Iwo Jima and American Sniper, both directed by Eastwood. The other nominations were for Eraser, Space Cowboys, Flags of Our Fathers, and Sully. During his senior year at UK, Asman got a chance to take film classes, and he found his calling. After graduating from the University of Kentucky, Asman spent his early years working as a film editor on television commercials and low-budget movies in his hometown of Louisville. He sought out a job in film editing after college and got one with Louisville-based filmmaker William Girdler. In 1976, he made the jump to Hollywood, and before long, he was able to get a job at Paramount Pictures, working as a sound effects editor. One of the first films he worked on at Paramount was a film starring Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz. This film began a career-long working relationship with his co-editor, Alan Murray. Asman retired in 2017. Please welcome Henry B. Bub Asman Jr. to the stage.
Goes to great lengths to convince the sound guy. Goes to great lengths to convince the nominees if they win, to get up there and make their acceptance speech and not pull out a list of names of people to read and thank because they say that's boring and nobody cares. In reality, they say what you should do is make a speech that's funny, clever, interesting, entertaining, maybe make the audience cry or laugh or whatever that, and you have 30 seconds to do it. So in reality, when you do win, you get up there and the first thing you notice is a big clock right in front of you counting down 29, 28, 27. And you say, well, I'm screwed. But because once it reaches zero, the orchestra starts playing and your mic gets cut off and you don't get to speak anymore. And even if you do, you're talking to yourself. So anyway, that was my experience. It was short and sweet. But anyway, I do want to thank, I do have my list of people to thank, and it's really a short one. I do want to thank the Alumni Association for this terrific honor to be included with this group of amazing and accomplished people that you will hear more about as time goes on, and the ones we've already heard from tonight. It's humbling. It's very, very humbling. Now, when I was a student here, I can honestly say that I enjoyed every single moment that I was here, minus a chemistry class that I hated 8 o'clock in the morning. That was not fun. But other than that, I really did enjoy my time here. And they set me up for a great career, and I'm glad that I did well enough to be included in this group. But I can't say that it was all skill, or there was luck involved along the way. I don't think anybody's successful without having a little bit of luck, the kind of being at the right place at the right time kind of luck. And I had my fair share. Certainly making that lifelong connection with Clint Eastwood back in 1978 was a pretty good stroke of luck for me. And I'm thrilled that it happened. Clint is a good man. He's a fine filmmaker, and thankfully for me, he's very loyal to his people. One other great stroke of luck I had was meeting my wife for 45 years. If I am distinguished in any way, shape, or form, it's pretty much because of her. So thanks again to the, almost said Academy, thanks to the Alumni Association for this wonderful honor. So thank you very much.
Congratulations once again to Bub Asman Jr. The Honorable Stephen L. Beshear received his Bachelor of Arts in History at the College of Arts and Sciences in 1966 and his Juris Doctor in Law at the J. David Rosenberg College of Law in 1968. Stephen Beshear of Lexington served as the 61st Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky from 2007 to 2015. He also served as Attorney General from 1979 to 1983, Lieutenant Governor from 1983 to 1987, and he was a member of the Kentucky House of Representatives from 1974 to 1979. As governor, Beshear expanded the Medicaid program under the Affordable Care Act and launched the Kentucky Health Benefit Exchange, helping over 500,000 Kentuckians. Kentucky's unemployment rate dropped from 10.7 to 4.9%, and the state set export records 4 years in a row. In all, his administration announced almost 2,300 new and expansion projects that created $19.3 billion in investment and more than 87,000 jobs when full employment was attained. Beshear raised Kentucky's dropout age from 16 to 18 years old and moved the state into the top 10 states in the country in high school graduation rates. Under his leadership, Kentucky's college career readiness rate rose from 32% to 64%. As a result of his efforts, he was named Education Governor of the Year by the National Education Association. He is the author of People Over Politics, a book about how to make a broken system of government work again. He served as a Menschel Senior Leadership Fellow at the Harvard School of Public Health and as a visiting fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School Institute of Politics in 2017. While at UK, he was the student body president, a member of Phi Beta Kappa, and served as an editor for the Kentucky Law Journal. Additionally, he served as a visiting scholar at the University of Kentucky College of Public Health in 2018. Please welcome to the stage the Honorable Stephen L. Beshear.
Thank you, Carl. You read that just like I wrote it. You know, these days, when Jane and I introduce ourselves, and by the way, my partner of 52 years is with me over here. We say, hi, we're Steve and Jane Beshear, and we used to be somebody. Now we're just the parents of somebody. But that ain't half bad, folks. I'll tell you that right now. You know, this university obviously has made a transformative difference in the lives of so many people, including, I know, of all the inductees here tonight. I came from this little town in far west Kentucky. And you come to a different world. And it was a great world. And I went through undergraduate school here, went through law school here. And that experience created a foundation for me that helped me do whatever I've done of a successful nature in life. But it also gave me a self-confidence to do what you need to do in life. And all of us that go through that experience look for ways during that life to give back to the university. With me, you know, obviously, most of that giving back has been in the political world. I still remember back before most of you were born, in the 1970s, when I served in the General Assembly and we worked and got millions of dollars to expand the neonatal intensive care unit at UK hospitals. It then had 17 beds to serve all the children of Eastern Kentucky. Well, you know, that didn't even come close. But because of the hard work of a lot of people at that time, we expanded that to about 45 beds. While I was governor, Dr. Capilouto and the administration and I partnered in a lot of the bricks and mortars projects that you see on this campus today. One I'm very proud of is a bond issue we got to put together, Mary, for the new law school. The J. David Rosenberg College of Law today, while they say we renovated it, I don't think there is an old piece of brick or mortar in that building. And we've got a fantastic law school there today because of the efforts of so many people. And we've got a great team over here at Mary Davis who is running that shop right now. But one of the things that I'm most proud of, and Carl mentioned it tonight, because of its effect, not only on the people of this state, but on the medical complex right here at the University of Kentucky, is the expansion of Medicaid and the embrace of the Affordable Care Act that Kentucky did, that ended up giving about 500,000 Kentuckians the first opportunity they had ever had in their lives to get affordable health. That not only helped those 500,000 people, but it became a tremendous financial underpinning for the University of Kentucky Medical Complex and what it is today. You know, what all of us do for UK makes it better, because UK makes everybody in this state better. So, UK, thanks.
Dana R. Canedy received a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism at the College of Communication and Information in 1988. Dana R. Canedy of New York City is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and the Senior Vice President and Publisher of Simon & Schuster. She previously ran the Pulitzer Prizes, serving as a board member, selecting prize jurors, and announcing the winners. She was recently named one of Fortune magazine's most powerful women. Her newspaper career includes working at the Palm Beach Post in Florida, reporting on law enforcement and crime. She later joined the Plain Dealer in Cleveland to cover law enforcement, suburban government, and local business. She worked as an editor on the Metropolitan desk, leaving in 1996 to join the New York Times. During her 20 years at the nation's top newspaper, Canedy worked as a business reporter and as the Florida bureau chief, overseeing all news coverage from the state. She also covered the historic 2001 presidential election recount. Canedy was a lead writer and editor on the Times series, How Race is Lived in America, which won the 2001 Pulitzer Prize for National Reporting. She is the author of A Journal for Jordan, which has been made into a movie to be released by Sony in theaters this Christmas, directed by Denzel Washington and starring Michael B. Jordan. The book tells the story of her fiance, First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, and the 200-page journal he left for their son, Jordan, written before being killed in Iraq. The journal imparted life lessons and his expressions of his love for them. The book has been sold and translated around the world. Dana was unable to join us tonight, but she sent us this video to share.
Thank you so much for having me this evening. I'd like to thank President Capilouto and all who were involved in the selection of all of the honorees today. I am humbled and grateful to be in the company of so many deserving honorees. Kentucky is home, it always will be, and UK is where I got everything I needed to achieve what I wanted to achieve professionally and soar. It starts and ends at the University of Kentucky. I received the best training, the best support, the best mentors there, people like Chester Grundy, who was at UK for so many years, and so many wonderful professors. And it prepared me to go out into the world and capture my dreams, which with God's amazing grace, I've been able to do. And I have to thank God first and foremost. You know, a girl from Kentucky who had a dream of being a writer in New York. I wrote about that in my high school yearbook, that's what I wanted to do. Took a little bit longer than that, but with so much amazing support from my family and all of my teachers and professors throughout the years, I was able to do it. I want to thank my sister and my brother, who I love dearly, who are with you in my absence, representing me and the family. Vanessa Canedy and Derek Canedy, please stand up, take the bow. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to be your big sister. And I want to say that our whole family is just honored and truly touched by this award. I have a nephew, Cameron Canedy, who is at UK right now doing so well. I'm proud of him. My son, Jordan, who's 15, has UK on the list of schools that he wants to consider someday. And I just want to say that in any way I can, for the rest of my life, I will do my best to be a proud ambassador for the University of Kentucky. Thank you again, and congratulations to all the honorees this evening.
Jon C. Carloftis received a Bachelor of Arts in Communication from the College of Communication and Information in 1986. John Carloftis of Lexington is an award-winning rooftop gardener and garden designer. After moving to New York City in 1988, he became one of America's pioneers in rooftop small space gardening, as he designed and installed rooftop gardens all over Manhattan for such celebrities as Julianne Moore, Edward Norton, and Mike Myers. He was a contributing editor of Garden Design magazine, and his gardens have been featured in more than 250 national magazines. Carloftis represented Country Home magazine along with 5 other national publications to decorate the U.S. Vice President's house for the holidays under the Obama administration. He has received many awards, including the National Garden Club Award of Excellence, Garden Club of America Horticultural Commendation, chosen as one of the top 25 designers celebrating the 25 years of the Garden Conservancy Open Days, included in Southern Living's top 50 years of celebrating the South, a chapter in Saving Kentucky by Sally Van Winkle Campbell, Bluegrass Trust's Award for Landscape Preservation, the Ida Lee Willis Award from the Kentucky Heritage Council, highest honor in the state for preservation of Bothram, and an honorary doctorate of humanities from Eastern Kentucky University. Carloftis restored the Kentucky Governor's Mansion formal gardens and the historic garden at the President's home at the University of the Cumberlands. He designed and installed a healing garden in the oncology wing at Baptist Health Lexington, as it enhanced the gardens at Maker's Mark and Castle and Key distilleries. He is the author of Beautiful Gardens of Kentucky in 2010 and has been named as one of the Solitaire Top 100 Best Party Hosts in America for 3 years in a row. Please welcome to the stage Jon C. Carloftis.
I'm a disaster in everything but my business. I'll tell you that. That's the truth. I just want to say, I wrote all these little notes here, but I can't read them. They're too small. University of Kentucky was the best 12 years of my life. That's what I always say. I made it in 4 years somehow, but I just want to say I certainly believe that everything happens for a reason. And even if it's something bad that's happening, you're going to learn from it. Well, you better learn from it, you know? I just want to say how this happened is by accident. You know, everything is sort of by, the Canedy that was before me when she was saying she had a goal. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I had no idea. And then 3 days before, I applied to the University of Kentucky, I guess, or I don't know how I got in there, but anyway, I got in there. And they didn't have dorms open. And there was this thing called Rush I'd never heard about. And I went through there, and it was the AGR, I went to agricultural fraternity, and they had a room in the fraternity house. So that was perfect. Everything was perfect. And then you had to be econ to be in the fraternity, and I didn't, it wasn't my thing. And I got into communications because I didn't have to take math. I really didn't have. I graduated University of Kentucky without one math course. I promise you. I can work things out. Then working on my fraternity brother's horse and tobacco farm for extra money and work. Oh God, I loved it. Even though I didn't want to be a farmer that kind of way, but I knew I wanted to do something with the land. And then getting a chance to move to New York City for just the summer. I didn't like New York City. I moved up there and I made these cards up, and they said, Jon Carloftis, rooftop garden designer. I'd never been on a roof in my life. But I did have style from mom and daddy and my brother and sister. People think they're mom and daddy because they're so much older. I got you. I got you good. They're 15 years old. Anyway, but moving up there, and it's been a long journey. It's not been easy, but I have always represented Kentucky and University of Kentucky. I love this place. I love Lexington. I'm finally back. Golly, I'm sad to be back. And, we're not successful without others. And I just want to say, Mom and Daddy, who gave it, they gave us the freedom to be whoever we wanted to be. Okay. And then my so Carloftis and Buzz, they were valedictorians, valedictorians of University of Cumberland. Well, hell, we just went to class. They thought we were smart like them because us younger people, the kids, and they're the ones that paved the way. And just want to say, and the Capilouto, Dr. Marilyn Capilouto, by the way. They have changed our university. It's impressive. Being here. I just want to thank you all, and happy birthday to Stacy, my college, and my wonderful University of Kentucky friends here at the table, Dr. Tam, my doctor, Nick Phillips, and Deirdre, Miss Logic, who's got her English LIT. What you got your PhD up in your English LIT. That's what I like to say. But thank you so much.
Joe Cross Creason received a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism at College of Arts and Sciences in 1940. Joe Cross Creason of Louisville, Kentucky, was a journalist for the Courier Journal. During his time at UK, Creason served as sports editor for both the Kentucky Colonel and the Kentuckian, and was president of his fraternity, Alpha Tau Omega. After graduation, the Benson, Kentucky native worked at several newspapers in Western Kentucky before accepting a writing position at the Courier-Journal in 1941. Except for a 2-year period from 1944 to 1946, when he served as an officer in the U.S. Navy in the Pacific Theater, he would work at the Courier-Journal for the next 34 years, developing relationships with citizens from across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Creason began his career at the Courier-Journal as a sports reporter before being promoted to the staff of the Sunday magazine section. It was during his 23-year tenure on the Sunday publication that he would annually travel to each of the state's 120 counties, collecting stories. Creason became legendary when he came off the road and was given his own column in 1963. Titled Joe Creason's Kentucky, it focused on the everyday lives of common Kentuckians, their struggles, their hopes, their dreams, and their humor. It would run 6 days a week, and he had complete control of content. Joe Creason Park, located adjacent to the Louisville Zoo and the Louisville Tennis Center, is a lasting memorial to the man who captivated readers across the state. In 1975, the University of Kentucky and the Bingham Enterprises Foundation created the annual Joe Creason Lecture Series, bringing prominent journalists to Lexington to speak and meet with students and the public. He served as national president of the UK Alumni Association from 1969 through 1970, and served as longstanding advisor to the Colonel and the UK School of Journalism for many years. In 1971, he was awarded UK's Distinguished Service Medallion. Creason passed away in 1974 at the age of 56. Accepting on his behalf is his son, Bill Creason.
Let me start by saying this event is a high water mark for the Creason family. There are 11 of us here tonight from ages 6 to 72. I'm the 72-year-old. They've traveled from the Bay Area of California, from Boston, New York City, and even as far away as Louisville, Kentucky. Not many people from Louisville come to Lexington on a football weekend. Only four of the 11 here tonight have actually met my father. And so an event like this is great for the remaining parts of our family to hear the stories and hear him reminisce about. For those of you who may not be familiar with my family, with my father, let's provide a little bit more details about little tidbits about him. He knew Kentucky better than anybody of the day, in his day. And I am not exaggerating. In his 23 years at the Courier in Louisville, in the 33 years, excuse me, it was estimated he traveled over 500,000 miles throughout the borders of Kentucky, and in search of stories and holding a network of contact, developing a network of contacts and friends. Keep in mind, all these miles, majority of these miles were driven before the interstate highway system was in operation. He loved what he did, writing and speaking about Kentucky. Opportunities to move to larger papers were often brought his way from around the country, but he turned them all down because he wanted to stay in Kentucky. Where could I find a better place to be? He could not see himself leaving the state. And the famous author, Kentucky author and close friend Jesse Stewart referred to my dad as the foremost ambassador of goodwill for one of the 10 greatest newspapers in the world. Dad began building his reputation at the CJ, as was mentioned earlier. He began writing for the Sunday magazine in 1941, 1963. However, he really kicked off his reputation within the state when he took over the responsibility for the column 6 days a week, which is unbelievable for a columnist. And that usually a columnist will do 2 days a week. 6 days a week is unheard of. But he did it. And he did a wonderful job with it. The column appeared, as I said, 6 days a week for over 13 years. Plus he had 100% editorial control of what was in the column every day. The only thing they checked for was spelling. And the columnist, but as a columnist, he showed that respect and faith of the citizens of Kentucky, who he loved very dearly. In his initial column in 1963, he presented the premise behind the column. It was to provide a space for low-pressure, humorous, ironic, real-life stories about people. The research staff and the contacts for his stories would end up being his readers. And boy, did they come to his support. Dad was receiving over 300 letters a week from readers around the state and throughout the country, relating humorous stories and interests, and in short, receiving thank you notes from people for his support of various things around the state. At the time of his death in August 1974, his column was the most widely read feature in the Courier Journal. And following his death, that next week, over 10,000 subscriptions to the Courier were canceled. While he was being honored tonight by UK, I can't understate the significance this university played in his development, becoming the person and the journalist he became. He served on the staffs of the Colonel and the Kentuckian, the yearbook. And he had huge influence on his life. A person who had a huge influence on his life here was Dr. Thomas Clark, a renowned history professor here at the university. Dr. Clark really kind of fostered Dad's love of history and the diversity of our Commonwealth, and became a great resource to him going forward. And last but not least, while here, he met a young, smart, attractive commerce major from Bath County, Shella Robertson, whom he would marry at the end of after graduation. Mother would be by my dad's side for the next 34 years as they raised two remarkable sons and made their way through life together. Dad's professional mantra was very simple: treat people with respect, make Kentuckians proud of their home state and its remarkable heritage and the people with whom they share the Commonwealth, and finally provide therapy through humor. He loved a good story. He chronicled the ways Kentuckians live, work, and play. He showed the beauty that would be found in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, the bluegrass of central Kentucky, and the lakes of western Kentucky, and everywhere in between. In the end, he made us realize Kentucky was a good place to hail from. And this pride in being Kentuckian is one of the legacies my dad left to us all. Whether we have lived this whole life or set up roots outside the Commonwealth, these feelings about the Commonwealth go with you. I hope you feel this way as well. In closing, on behalf of all the Creasons here tonight, thank you again for this wonderful honor bestowed upon my dad by his university. Thank you very much.
James C. Duff received a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Political Science, and History from the College of Arts and Sciences in 1975. James Duff of Bethesda, Maryland, is Executive Director of the Supreme Court Historical Society. He was Director of the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts from 2006 to 2011, and again from 2015 to 2021. Where he also served as Secretary of the Judicial Conference of the United States. In between those two periods of service, he was President and Chief Executive Officer of the Museum and Freedom Forum, 2011 through 14. Duff is former chairman of the Supreme Court Fellows Commission and has been an adjunct faculty member at Georgetown University for 16 years, teaching constitutional law and civil liberties. He was previously managing partner of the Washington law firm of Baker Donaldson, PC. From 1996 to 2000, Duff served as counselor to Chief Justice William H. Rehnquist and was his liaison with Congress, the executive branch, and various state and federal organizations involved in the administration of justice. Duff is a member of Phi Beta Kappa, a graduate of the UK Honors Program, and was a walk-on on the UK basketball team in 1971-72. He attended the University of Edinburgh, Scotland in 1973, and earned a law degree from Georgetown University Law Center in 1981. He was named to the UK Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame, as well as given the Georgetown Entertainment and Media Law Achievement Award, both in 2012. Please welcome James C. Duff to the stage.
Thank you all very much. This is an amazing night for someone who as a 4-year-old dreamed of going to the University of Kentucky and succeed all dreams I had in those days. My father used to bring me here to the University Invitational Basketball Tournament every December, and we would sleep in the attic with my aunts and uncles in Lexington. My family had deep roots in Kentucky. Yesterday, I was walking on a beautiful hilltop in Boonville, Kentucky, surrounded by other beautiful hilltops. I was walking through a cemetery where many of my ancestors rest, and thinking about their pursuits of freedoms. My ancestors were Scottish origin, were rebels in 1740s, captured and sent to America as indentured servants in the late mid 1740s. They were sent to North Carolina. They eventually escaped servitude and headed for the hills of Kentucky and settled around Boone, Perry County, late 1790s, early 1800s, and have lived there ever since. All the families since then. And I was just giving thought to their lives and what they've done and how much they sacrificed for those of us in this generation to get where we are. My grandfather, when he was a little boy, his mother died, and his father remarried, and they moved from Louisville to Berea. And Paula, my grandfather, was 10 years old. They put him in 5th grade, and all the girls in the class laughed at him because he couldn't read. So he went home after school one day, and he told his father, he said, "I'm going back to Boonville." And he didn't much like his stepmom anyway. So his father thought, well, and he wanted to live with his grandfather. Father thought, well, that's not a bad idea, and he loaned him a shotgun. My papa walked 50 miles to the mineral from Berea to Boonville. Taught himself to read over the years. Became sheriff of Owsley County, the oldest living sheriff of the country. I think if you're a public servant in Boonville, Kentucky, it's a lifetime appointment. Charles Long just died there. He was the mayor of Boonville. He was 96 years old and he was the oldest living mayor in the United States. So there's something to life tenure, I think, in Boonville. But I raise all this because if Mama and Papa were here today, they would just be amazed. And so I thank them and all those who went before me who never set foot on the University of Kentucky campus, but they built it. And it's part of us. It's part of our heritage. This university provides so many opportunities for so many of us. I'm very grateful for this award. Thank you.
Eugene Gabbard received a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from the College of Engineering in 1961. Eugene Gabbard of Cary, North Carolina and Naples, Florida, has worked as a private investor and entrepreneur since 1993. He's worked on more than 25 startups, invested in more than 40 startup companies on a personal basis, and served on more than 20 boards. He is a venture partner in Ballast Point Ventures, venture capital funds based in Tampa, Florida. During his career, he served as Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer from 1990 through 1993 of MCI Communications Corporation, now Verizon Business. Was on the board of directors from 2005 through 2014 of Colt Telecom Group SA Luxembourg, a provider of telecommunications and data center services to businesses throughout Europe, and became a member of the board in 2010 of Netcracker Technology Corporation, Waltham, Massachusetts, a leading provider of management and support systems and services to telecommunication carriers throughout the world. Gabbard joined the Mercer University's Board of Trustees in 1990 and served as a fellow on Mercer's National Engineering Advisory Board. He earned a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 1965 and was inducted into the UK College of Engineering Hall of Distinction in 1999. Accepting on his behalf is his nephew, Fletcher Gabbard.
Thank you all. My name is Fletcher Gabbard, as she said, and I'm here tonight on behalf of my uncle, Eugene Gabbard. My uncle was truly honored to be recognized as a distinguished alumni of the University of Kentucky. This university not only gave him a first-rate general and technical education, but many other important learning experiences that were needed for a well-rounded, productive life. During his time here, he worked as a photographer at the journalism department, provided skills for a lifetime and funds that were needed for his education. He also received excellent leadership training as head resident of Hagen Hall. Through these and many other experiences here at UK, he made dear friends and associates that endure to this day. He asked me to convey his most sincere thanks to excellent faculty and staff that gave him a solid foundation of an incredible career. Wonderful recognition. Thank you.
Dr. F. Joseph Halcomb III received a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from the College of Engineering in 1974 and a medical degree from the College of Medicine in 1978. Joseph Halcomb of Camarillo, California, is a physician, engineer, and private equity investor with a distinguished career as an executive in the medical device and biotechnology industries. He is founder and CEO of Phoenix Indatiari and a partner at Telegraph Hill Partners. Both firms are dedicated to helping life science, medical device, and healthcare companies achieve their growth objectives. Dr. Halcomb also served as Vice President, Drug Product and Device Development at Amgen, a worldwide pioneer in biotechnology. Prior to Amgen, he served as President of the Hall Surgical Division and Vice President, Product Development at Zimmer, a leading orthopedic device company. He was inducted into the UK College of Engineering Hall of Distinction in 2014. He serves as chairman of the College of Engineering Campaign Committee. He's also a member of the College of Engineering Dean's Advisory Council and Biomedical Engineering Advisory Board, and serves as a trustee of the Sigma Alpha Epsilon Foundation. In 2010, Dr. Halcomb established the Halcomb Endowed Fellowship in Medicine and Engineering at the University of Kentucky. After a larger commitment to the endowment in 2016, the Department of Biomedical Engineering became the first named department at the university. He also holds an MS degree in engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He received the degree of Honorary Doctor of Engineering from UK in May of 2021. Please welcome Dr. F. Joseph Halcomb III to the stage.
Thank you, Carl, and good evening, everyone. Before I begin my remarks, I want to thank President Eli Capilouto for what he's done here at the University of Kentucky, achieving remarkable and unprecedented growth and progress with advancing the mission of the university. Absolutely amazing. I think we have a secret weapon here. He's not on the basketball team. His name is Eli Capilouto. I am truly honored and humbled to be inducted in the Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Special thanks to the Alumni Association for selecting me. Tonight, I want to share a few words of gratitude for those who made this possible. You know, I have been very fortunate to be a part of some extraordinary things in my life. Innovations that have changed the lives of millions of people around the world. But the truth is, I had a very good and great supporting cast who had a profound effect on my life and career. I'm grateful for my father, Dr. F.J. Halcomb Jr., who was a small town family physician in southern Kentucky. He let me go on rounds with him when I was in grade school. I got to see surgery for the first time when I was 12 years old. So I grew up around the practice of medicine, thanks to my dad. I'm grateful to UK professors Jim Lafferty and Charlie Knapp, who I'm so glad to be with. They inspired me to dream big, to push further, and to learn more. With their help, I began a study plan that prepared me for my ultimate career. I'm grateful to my mentors at MIT, who gave me an extraordinary opportunity to take an idea from the laboratory into the operating room. Inspired the development of a new product that revolutionized the therapeutic industry. Those people paved the way for me to achieve professional success. But without the collective support of my family and friends, too numerous to mention, I would not be here today. I'm thankful to my parents who taught me the importance of serving others. I'm thankful and grateful beyond words for my wife, Jonah. We met here at UK, got married 2 weeks after graduation, and this year we celebrated our 47th anniversary. Our daughters, Alice and Melissa, have blessed us with 8 grandchildren. my sister Julie Co. and my extended family, many of which are here tonight from 4 states, I believe, have always been there for me. My brothers in Sigma Alpha Epsilon, who helped me achieve my full potential and to be a true gentleman. If it was not for my SA experience here at UK, I would not be here. And I'm continually grateful to Father Ed Murray, who was a chaplain at the VA hospital when I was a resident in the UK, resident in medicine at UK. His gift of kindness, handing me an envelope full of cash so that Joni and I could make the move to MIT, made a lasting impression. He said, do this for somebody else someday. And that's been the reason for my giving ever since. It's why I endowed UK's Department of Commerce and Engineering. So in closing, I believe in God's master plan in the life. Now, each person we encounter leaves a mark, and we're more of a positive. My purpose is to leave that positive mark on others. And hopefully, UK's biomedical engineers will do the same. Thank you again for honoring me.
Jon G. Heyburn II received a Juris Degree in Law from the J. David Rosenberg College of Law in 1976. Jon G. Heyburn II was nominated to the United States District Court as a United States District Judge for the Western District of Kentucky. And commitment to clear, logical, and thoughtful rulings. His passions for the rule of law fueled his rise to leadership in the federal judiciary. He sought, quote, to ever improve the legal system, considered the envy of the world, end of quote. Heyburn presided over 7,645 years on the bench, including some of the most controversial issues, including recognition of same-sex marriage, restrictions on access to abortion, racial desegregation of schools, and the scope of the First Amendment guarantees. He served as the chief judge of the court between 2001 and 2008. He was appointed to the Budget Committee for the Judicial Conference in 1994 and named chair in 1997, where he served in this role until 2005. Through 2004, Heyburn led the annual appropriations process for the federal judiciary. In 2007, he was appointed to a 7-year term as chair of the Judicial Panel for Multi-District Litigation. As a student in UK's College of Law, Heyburn was a runner-up in the 6th Circuit Moot Court competition. He later served as president of the Law School. He received an undergraduate degree in history from Harvard University in 1970. Heyburn passed away in 2015 at the age of 66. Accepting on his behalf is his wife, Dr. Martha Heyburn.
UK was a wellspring of inspiration for Judge Heyburn, creating a foundation that served him throughout his career. Here, he learned the importance that the rule of law plays in our democracy and how an independent judiciary upholds the core values of our republic. He benefited from the personal relationships he built with the faculty and fellow students that stayed with him throughout his life. As Judge Heyburn achieved national recognition for his work, he was first and foremost a proud graduate of UK. He took pride in the opportunity that UK provides to many first-generation lawyers. Part of UK's mission to attract and retain Kentucky's best and brightest through its people and programs. Jon continued that tradition in his hiring of law clerks. With applicants from Stanford to Harvard and throughout the nation, it was his great pride to hire the best and brightest at UK Rosenberg Law. At UK, he learned from the diversity of Kentucky, from the mountains to the bluegrass to the home of the Derby, that Americans come in all stripes, but they share a common bond of striving to secure a more perfect union with the blessings of liberty. He loved to see UK basketball succeed and showcase our. Like any UK grad, he was a diehard UK basketball fan. Many of his best memories involved traveling to March Madness with family, to UK father-son basketball camp with his son Jack and Jim and Scotty Duff. After his passing, it was a natural fit to partner with UK to create a program to continue to highlight his passions for the law and Kentuckians in the federal judiciary at the place where these lifelong inspirations began. He was so proud of his time here, and I know he would be so proud of this honor. But he would also make clear that he shares this honor with all who supported him and mentored him during his time at UK, as well as all of you today who continue to improve and enhance the missions of UK, never content to maintain the status quo. And for continuing his legacy by partnering with the Heyburn Initiative for Excellence in the Federal Judiciary.
Received a Bachelor of Arts in French from the College of Arts and Sciences in 2007. Ashley Judd of Franklin, Tennessee and Cambridge, Massachusetts is an award-winning actor, writer, humanitarian, and activist. Her work as both an artist and advocate began right here on the campus of the University of Kentucky. Her film and stage career has spanned 30 years and includes indie gems like Ruby in Paradise, which won the Sundance Film Festival, and box office smashes such as Double Jeopardy. Her career also includes Broadway hits such as Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Her films have grossed over $1 billion at the box office. Since 2004, Judd has traveled to 22 countries in her capacity as global ambassador for non-governmental organizations, such as Population Services International and UNFPA, the United Nations Population Fund. This work includes extensive time in brothels, refugee camps, and slums, focusing on sex and labor slavery and the root causes of poverty and sex inequality. She takes the sacred stories of the vulnerable and exploited to heads of state and the international community. In 2020, Ashley Judd was recognized by the United Nations as Global Advocate of the Year. Her book, All That Is Bitter and Sweet, was a New York Times bestseller, and she's often an expert panelist at conferences and a much sought-after speaker. In 2010, Judd earned an MPA from Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Her paper, Gender Violence, Law, and Social Justice, was awarded the Dean's Scholar Award at Harvard University Law School. Ashley was the first actor to go on the record about Harvey Weinstein's serial predation and is a leader of the hashtag #MeToo movement and co-founder of Time's Up. She spends part of each year in the rainforest of the Democratic Republic of Congo studying the endangered egalitarian great ape bonobos, where she and her partner have a research camp. Please welcome to the stage, Ashley T. Judd.
God looks beautiful. Thank you so much. And you read bonobos perfectly. Well, I'm mighty proud to be here, and Eastern Kentucky is in the house. And so are all my parents and my beloved aunt and uncle and my chosen sister, Sam. And how a kid like me ends up on a stage like this is a bit of a mystery as well as a miracle. Because we didn't have the easiest time coming up, but I'm really grateful that I wound up at the University of Kentucky because the University of Virginia wouldn't let me in. But I really did wind up in the right place. And the fire that's in me today was sparked at the university here. And, you know, we are a land grant university, and I do want to pause for just a moment because I always like to recognize the folks who were here before I was. And that would mean acknowledging the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, the Shawnee, and the Osage, because it was their land before it was my land. And I also have to acknowledge that tomorrow is the anniversary of my triple great granddaddy Elijah Hensley being wounded in the Civil War at the Battle of Saltville, and he fought for the Union cause, and I'm real proud of him. And you know, it was professors like Susan Abbott Jameson and Christine Havis who shared a National Endowment for the Humanities grant with Janine Blackwell, who got me fired up. And I had a teacher who was talking about depictions of women in the Bible, and I wasn't real pleased with some of what I read. So I found my faith in a different way, sitting in the kitchen at the Kappa House with the cook Barbara, who taught me about liberation theology. And all of that came together when I decided that there was an up with which I would not put. And I'll get to the happy part, but at first I was real upset. Because when I was sitting there drinking a cup of coffee over at the Kappa House and reading about things that were unfair, I found out that marital rape was still legal in my state. And when I put my feet down and I stopped shaking, Barbara said, "Yes, honey, my husband can rape me." And then I found out that there were things about the university that I didn't think were particularly fair. And so I decided I was going to lead a campus-wide march out of classes, because that protest seemed the only way we could get the administration and the board of trustees attention. At least I'm consistent. And when I went to some of the classes where my friends were sitting, because I thought they would join me, they did not. But you know what I did with my friends? I continued to break bread and play with them and have fun with them, because I learned right here at the University of Kentucky that I can stand for something without standing against my fellows, and that we can have differences with dignity and respect, and that we learn together, and we fought together, and we strove together. And then marital rape was outlawed in 1990 by the good efforts of Carol Jordan, who's now here at the Center for the Policy for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And there's a scholarship that's endowed in my name, and that means a great deal to me. And so I culminated here. And it means so much to me to know that these are where my roots are planted and that I have grown. And when I went to Harvard, I had confidence as a scholar, because Susan Abbott Jameson said to me one day when I walked out of class, "Ashley, good remarks today." I felt 10 feet tall and bulletproof, because this great anthropologist knew that I had something to contribute. Never underestimate the power of your compliment on a young woman who isn't so sure of herself all the time. So I think Kentucky has come a really long way. Look at these distinguished fellows who have been inducted into this illustrious company tonight. And thank you so much to the committee. And it's so nice. Bonobos that we study, folks ask, who are they and what are they? And they're evolutionarily very close to us. We share over 99% of our DNA with them, and we have a choice, just like we did back when I was here and things were a little bit rough. And things are a lot better today. And we can be like the chimpanzees, where there's 100% of all female chimpanzees are severely beaten and sexually coerced by males. And when they get together, two strange parties get together, somebody loses a finger. It's very ugly. But bonobos, their communities are undergirded by stable female coalitions. And there's an absolute and total lack of any sexual coercion of any kind. And when communities come together, right now, and there's no recorded infanticide or homicide. And so what do we want to be like? Do we want to go the chimpanzee route, or do we want to be like the bonobos? I think we know the answer to that. And that's why we study them, because they're egalitarian and they're co-dominant. And when I was here at the University of Kentucky, I discovered the hill on which I'm willing to die, and that is egalitarianism. And so that's my purpose, and that's my message. And I really thank my family for supporting me in that. We come from a mixed political family, and we don't sweep it under the table, and we don't not talk about it. I mean, when I was supporting the candidate of my choice, who my mother thinks is a nut job, she came and watched me speak on behalf of my candidate and said to me afterwards, "They're so lucky to have you. You were brilliant." Because that's the kind of stuff that we can do when we pull together and we love each other. So that's pretty much what I wanted to have the opportunity to say with you tonight, and just thank you. It's a real honor to be here. This university means the most to me of just about anything I've ever done in my life, and I've done quite a lot. And my speech would be incomplete if I didn't say one more thing. Go, Cats! Thank you.
Elmer T. Lee of Frankfort, Kentucky, joined the Air Force in 1942, where he flew on missions as a radar bombardier on a B-29 Super Fortress. In 1946, he was honorably discharged and returned home to study electrical engineering at the University of Kentucky. He graduated with honors in 1949 and proceeded to take a position with the George T. Stagg Distillery in Frankfort, renamed Buffalo Trace in 1999. Initially a maintenance engineer, Lee was promoted to plant superintendent in 1966. In 1969, he held the dual titles of plant manager and master distiller, becoming the distillery's first master distiller. He would continue to hold both titles until his retirement in 1985. In 1984, Lee created Blanton's Single Barrel Bourbon, which became the first single barrel bourbon to be sold commercially. In retirement, Lee served as an ambassador and held the title of Master Distiller Emeritus for Buffalo Trace, educating visitors on the heritage and unique qualities of Kentucky's bourbon whiskey. The award-winning Elmer T. Lee Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey was bottled from barrels Lee continued selecting himself into his 90s. Lee received numerous accolades during his lifetime. He was in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame in 2001. He received the Lifetime Achievement Award from Whiskey Advocate in 2002 and Whiskey Magazine in 2012. And Whiskey Magazine inducted Lee into its Hall of Fame. Lee passed away in 2013 at the age of 93.
Elmer T. Lee was my grandfather. His mother, his only child, and I, his only grandson, are so happy to accept and honored to accept this recognition on his behalf. I'm grateful for the University of Kentucky that has meant so much to him in the past, and everyone who's been involved in tonight's ceremonies. Thank you so much. For him to be numbered among so many brilliant and outstanding and distinguished professionals would be such an honor for him. Like so many others in this room, UK afforded Elmer Lee the opportunity to receive an education that helped him pursue and achieve a level of success. Elmer was numbered among the men and women who became known as the greatest generation. They helped to build and lead this nation through their own set of difficult times. After he served his time in military service and graduating from the University of Kentucky, he spent the next 63 years of his life dedicated to one of the staple industries of this great state. From his meager beginnings to some accomplishments and accolades, Elmer, like so many of his peers of that time, never lost sight of who he was and where he came from. When the bourbon industry was sluggish and struggling, Elmer saw his distillery through some difficult times, and he dared to think innovatively and take a little bit of risk. With the help of several others, his foresight served as a spark to rejuvenate the bourbon industry and economy. But some of my most cherished memories with my grandfather do not revolve around his work and his accomplishments, but around the simple things of his life. Things like fishing on the forks of the Elkhorn, spending time in his garden that he kept at the distillery, watching UK athletics together, golfing, and our annual family vacations. Humility is the characteristic that first comes to mind for me when I think of my grandfather. It has been said that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that's what I remember most about my grandfather. His care and his concern for his family and his friends and for others. And as I reflect upon that great generation of which he was a part, perhaps humility served as a foundation for their success. And perhaps in our own set of difficult times, we would do well to follow their example, thinking less of self and more of others. My grandfather would have been honored and humbled by tonight's recognitions and awards, but he would have accepted with a great sense of gratitude, and he would have offered a hearty applause for his fellow inductees. From his daughter and I, thank you so much for the recognition of his life's work and success and contributions to his community. And on behalf of his family, may I also extend congratulations to every recipient this evening. From a proud grandson, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to reflect briefly upon the life of Elmer T. Lee and to accept this honor on his behalf. Thank you.
Alan C. Lowe received a Bachelor of Arts in History from the College of Arts and Sciences in 1986 and a Master's of Arts in 1989. Alan Lowe of Knoxville, Tennessee is director of the American Museum of Science and Energy and the K-25 History Center, both located in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Previously, he held positions at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California and the Office of Presidential Libraries at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. He served as director of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Presidential Library in New York and the Howard H. Baker Jr. Center at the University of Tennessee. From 2009 to 2016, Lowe was the founding director of the George W. Bush Presidential Library in Dallas, Texas. And from 2016 to 2019, was executive director of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield, Illinois. Lowe has served on the boards of the Central Illinois Food Bank, Illinois Humanities, the Illinois Association of Museums, WUOT, and the East Tennessee Economic Council. He was a trustee of the Lincoln Academy and president of both the Blount Mansion Association and the Association of Centers for the Study of Congress. He served on the advisory committee on the Records of Congress and was awarded the Federal Executive Board's Public Service Award. He's a graduate of Leadership Knoxville, and currently Lowe serves on the board of Child Help Tennessee and on the advisory board of the University of Kentucky Department of History. He co-hosts American POTUS, a popular podcast about the presidency, and hosts AMSE Cast, a podcast dedicated to science, engineering, and technology. Please welcome to the stage Alan C. Lowe.
Well, thank you all so very much. This is such an honor. I want to thank everyone who's been involved and made the last 2 days so extraordinarily special. I love my alma mater, the University of Kentucky. I owe it so much. I'm very honored to be in the illustrious company of my fellow inductees. You guys are a very hard act to follow, I must admit. I'm joined here tonight by my wife, Leanne, and my sister, Debbie, and my daughter, Carolyn, my stepdaughter, Annie, my stepson, Aaron. My nephew, Perry, and his family are watching through the magic of online, so I send my love to all of them. I recall my first day on the UK campus, sitting in the dearly departed Holmes Hall after my parents and my grandmother dropped me off. They'd given me a wonderful meal at Wendy's, and so I had a full stomach, and I was so excited to be here. I always loved UK. This is where I wanted to be, and I was finally here in college. But when I was sitting there in that dorm room and they left, I got a little scared. Suddenly, I was here. I was alone. This was the big time, right? I was in college. I'd grown up on a tobacco and cattle farm in Bourbon County, just down the road, outside a small town called Millersburg. You know, when I got here, I quickly realized I was not alone. I made great friends. And I was surrounded by faculty and staff who wanted me to succeed. My professors in the history department were extraordinary. Not just great teachers, but caring mentors. I was briefly in pre-med until I took Chemistry 101 and got out. I always said I realized on this, probably the second day of instruction, I had no idea what the professor was talking about. And I realized maybe history was my thing. And I was very glad I made that change. And I say this also, my professors in history taught me not just the details and the themes of history, but really how to study and how to learn, how to write, how to analyze things. I also had a minor in political science. I learned a lot there. And I'd be really remiss if I didn't note that as a graduate student here, I was a teaching assistant and loved that, learned a lot. And I worked at the King Library, where there's great people around me helping me learn how to work in a work environment, how libraries work, amazing help for my future career. You know, with the foundation this university provided, I left here in 1989 and began, and very unexpected. And a lot of people here have heard this story. I had no idea when I was hired at the Reagan Library what a presidential library was. I'd told a small fib in the interview that I'd wanted to work there forever, and I really had no idea what it was. But I moved to LA, got to meet Ronald Reagan. That's pretty cool, and learned not just how to be an archivist, but why archives and museums can be such important resources in our community and in our nation, how they can be amazing places of education. And I've been really proud to be doing that in one form or another for many years now. I've been fortunate to meet and to work with some amazing people. I always joke that I've met a lot of presidents, but the most nervous I ever was meeting Nolan Ryan, the great baseball player. And that I just about passed out that day. held the Dalai Lama's hand one day. I mean, I've been all these amazing experiences I've had, but I've made sure every one of those folks know that my blood runs Kentucky blue. No matter where I am or what I'm doing, I remember what I owed to this university. I've tried in my small ways over the years to give back. It's been a pleasure to lend a hand to the continued superb work of the Department of History, for sure. I've been privileged over the years, too, to champion the work of the Institute for Rural Journalism and Community Issues that Al Cross heads up. Just some great work going on here. Now, I know, given my track record, most of my career, except now I'm in a science museum, so I've had to learn a lot of science the last couple of years, but most of my career was in the presidential museum world. I thought maybe I'd share at least one presidential observation with you. And there's one I thought very appropriate. So President Lyndon Johnson once said that, quote, "Education is not a problem, education is an opportunity," unquote. That's a very important and very true statement, and certainly has been proven over and over again in my life. The education I received here at UK opened up a vast world of opportunities. I also have to say, President Capilouto, I don't know if you recall, I think I was with Baker or Bush when I came up, and we had a wonderful breakfast together. And you had not been president for that long, and you told me about your vision for this place. And it's amazing, sir, to see it come to fruition. Going around this campus this morning on the tour and the visits I've been here, this university was amazing when I was here. It's even more amazing now, thanks to your leadership. The quality of instruction here, the facilities we see, the dedication to the mission. UK is #1 in the hearts, I know, of its students, certainly of its alums, of all Kentuckians. I'm really proud to be an alumnus, really proud to receive this induction tonight. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And to one last thing, just to say, Ms. Judd said, go Big Blue. Thank you very much.
Davis Marksbury received a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from the College of Engineering in 1980. Davis Marksbury of Lexington, Kentucky, co-founded Extreme Software in 1998, providing customer relationship document software solutions to enterprises around the world. Marksbury served as CEO of Extreme until it was acquired by Hewlett-Packard in 2008. An entrepreneur since the age of 26, Marksbury is a pioneer in the document software industry, with Extreme being the third company he successfully launched to address complex technology challenges in the industry. He first founded PDR Information Services, a consulting company that focused on helping Fortune 500 companies build information management strategies. In 1992, Marksbury and Dan Kloiber started a spin-off company, PDR Advanced Technology, which developed Streamweaver, a print stream processing software solution. Marksbury and Kloiber then founded Extreme Software after selling Streamweaver to Pitney Bowes. Marksbury currently serves as chairman of the Marksbury Family Foundation and the Family Office. Marksbury is a member of the Kentucky Entrepreneur and Business Hall of Fame, was a regional winner of the 2003 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and has twice been a member of the Incorporated 500. Generosity from his family foundation to the UK Engineering Department helped construct the Davis Marksbury building, and donations to UK athletics have provided funding for facilities. Davis serves on the boards of several technology companies and has served on the UK Athletics Board, Board of Trustees of Centre College, and the Board of Trustees of the Bluegrass Community Foundation. Please welcome to the stage, Davis Marksbury.
Once upon a time,
when I was a senior at Harrison County High School. My teachers would often ask me what I wanted to do in life. My answer was always the same. I am going to invent something and become wealthy. They kind of just stared at me. It was an aspiration that began when I was very, very young, and its genesis, I believe, was my grandparents, who were sharecroppers, and their dream to make a better life for the family. My first experience at UK came when my father drove me to freshman orientation, where I was supposed to pick a major and sign up for classes. I remember on the way that he recommended that I major in business. That seemed fine to me. I hadn't really thought about it, so that's what I planned to do. But as it happened, at the orientation, someone put up a slide with a list of all the majors arranged by salary. At the top of the list, with the highest salary by far, was engineering. Business was not even on the list. So, although I wasn't quite sure what an engineer did, I decided right then that engineering was for me. And as fate would have it, it turned out to be the perfect choice for someone who wanted to invent something. So many stars had to align for me to be here tonight. Seeing that slide was certainly one of them. But the real stars are the many people who helped me along the way. People like my father, who pushed me to dream big and gave me the work ethic and the drive to be the best. All my business partners and all the great employees who embraced the challenge and gave so much so that we could achieve the many things that the experts said were impossible. My children, who make me proud as they pursue their own dreams while giving back so much to those in need. And of course, the biggest star, my wife, Beverly, who somehow through it all figured out how to make life work perfectly with an entrepreneur with crazy dreams. I definitely would not be here without her. It has been an amazing journey, and I will always be proud to be a graduate of the University of Kentucky and the College of Engineering. Thank you so much for this wonderful award.
Sally K. Mason received a Bachelor of Arts in Zoology from the UK College of Arts and Sciences in 1972. Sally Mason of Hilton Head, South Carolina, is Senior Fellow and Executive Search Consultant for the Association of Governing Boards. She is President Emerita at the University of Iowa, having served as the 20th University President the years 2007 through 2015. Trained as a cell developmental biologist, she also retired as Professor Emerita from the University of Iowa Department of Biology. Mason oversaw a historic era of campus transformation, including rebuilding in the wake of the 2008 flood, renewal of an arts campus for the 21st century, construction of a state-of-the-art children's hospital and biomedical discovery research center, and the first new residence hall since 1968. During her 8 years as president, she helped raise $1.7 billion in private funds through the For Iowa Forevermore campaign. Her career includes positions at the University of Kansas and Purdue University, and she has held many leadership positions in higher education and national organizations. She served 2 consecutive terms as a presidential appointee to the National Medal of Science Committee, including a term as chair. Initially appointed to this committee in 2006 by President George W. Bush, she was reappointed by President Barack Obama in 2008. Mason is currently a trustee for two private universities, Des Moines University and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. She earned a master's degree from Purdue University in 1974 and a doctorate from the University of Arizona in 1978. She also holds honorary doctorates from UK and the University of Notre Dame. Sally was unable to join us tonight, but she sent this video to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this honor. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate it, but I'm going to try, at least in the next few minutes. And I do, first of all, want to thank everyone at the University of Kentucky for honoring me and for taking the time to do this ceremony under less than ideal circumstances, to say the least. Why would this be so important to me? Well, I hope there's lots of students out there who have a chance to hear some of what your distinguished alumni have to say. I was the first child in my family ever to go to college. Like so many of you today, first generation college student. I know what that means, and I know how important education is. And I also know that higher education opened all the doors that made it possible for me to be in higher education for my entire life. In fact, my family, the joke in my family is, well, we sent her off to college and then she never left. And I think that's true. And it's so true that higher education not only opens doors, but it makes things possible in your life that you never, ever thought could happen. And it makes things possible for your families too. So just remember that. If someone like myself, the daughter of an immigrant dad and a mom who never had the opportunity for higher education either, can go to a wonderful place like the University of Kentucky, be lucky enough to be in the honors program, have the opportunity to work with so many great professors, and then have a career in higher education, you can do it too. You can do so many things with higher education. So with that, once again, let me say thank you to everyone at the University of Kentucky. A special thank you to my husband, who's been part of my team for the last 30 some years now in higher education. And thank you again for making this day so special and so important.
Martha M. McCarthy received a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education from the College of Education in 1966 and a Master of Arts in 1969. Martha M. McCarthy of Marina del Rey, California, is a presidential professor in the School of Education at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. She is also a Chancellor's Professor Emeritus at Indiana University, IU, where she served as Associate Dean of the Faculties and was founding director of the Indiana Education Policy Center and the High School Survey of Student Engagement. Her research focuses primarily on education law and policy and the evolution and reform of leadership preparation programs. McCarthy has served as president of the Education Law Association and the University Council for Educational Administration, and has received Lifetime Achievement Awards from both organizations. Among other recognition, she was named the first female living legend by the International Council of Professors of Educational Leadership. McCarthy was inducted into the UK College of Education Hall of Fame in 1990 and named a University of Florida UF Alumna of Outstanding Achievement. In 2013, IU established the Martha McCarthy Institute on Law and Policy. She earned a Specialist in Education degree in 1974 and a doctorate in 1975, both from UF. She won the Outstanding Dissertation Award in the University of Florida College of Education. Early in her career, she was named an award-winning inner-city teacher in Lexington and school administrator in Louisville. McCarthy has written or co-authored more than a dozen books and more than 350 articles or chapters. She has been a legal columnist for several journals and has served on 12 editorial boards for professional journals pertaining to school law, educational leadership, or educational research. Please welcome to the stage Martha M. McCarthy.
Thank you so much. And I love UK. Such a great education, and I made lifelong friends. It just was wonderful. And I still attend game watches with the California alum group. So I definitely bleed blue. I want to thank the committee for bestowing this wonderful honor, the incredible staff that attended to every single detail, my dear college roommate who nominated me. It is just truly humbling to be part of this group. This class is such an esteemed group. I kept thinking somehow it must have been a mistake that I was included, but it's really a wonderful group, and I'm very honored to be part of it. My parents met at UK, and my father was an engineering professor for a decade. My mom taught at the UK lab school for a while before they moved to Louisville. Some of my very earliest memories were driving from Louisville to come to football games. And I'll tell you, it took diehard fans in those days to come to the football games. But those were wonderful memories. And we'd get close to Lexington, and my mother would say, "Smell that good air." So they were so devoted. They sang the UK fight song at least once daily. There was never a question where my brother and I would attend school. It was always going to be UK. I adore Lexington. I still have relatives here and a family farm, so my roots run very deep. From the time I could talk, I wanted to follow in my parents' footsteps and be an educator. I am passionate about learning and teaching. The only job that I really actively sought was teaching middle school here in Lexington. I'd probably still be there if they hadn't recruited me from UK to supervise Teacher Corps interns. But I loved that, and then I became an administrator in Louisville. And after that, joined academe at IU and at LMU, two terrific places. But I have to tell you, when I became a professor, you could count on one hand and have some fingers left the women that were in my field, which is educational leadership. It truly was very daunting. And we literally could meet in a closet. And I think maybe at times we actually did meet in a closet because there were so few of us nationally that were in this field. But I am so happy to report that in the last study I did of the ed leadership faculty nationally, about half now are women. So we have come a long way. I'll just close by saying that my mother, who was a creative writer, she always kept me grounded. After reading my latest article or book, she would say, "Well, that's really nice, honey, but when are you going to write something entertaining?" Well, my work isn't sexy or fun, but hopefully it's been somewhat meaningful to the courts and attorneys who have quoted passages, and to practitioners who are striving to improve our nation's schools. I am grateful beyond words for my career and for this very humbling recognition. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
L. Stanley Pigman received a Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering from the UK College of Engineering in 1981. Stanley Pigman of Wilmington, North Carolina, is an entrepreneur who began his early professional career after college as a project engineer with a new mining company, Sierra Coal, a subsidiary of General Electric. Later in 1992, he joined two colleagues to form Sugar Camp Coal. Eventually, Pigman formed his own company, Pigman Coal Sales, providing sales services to an independently owned startup company for a new mining project in Western Kentucky. He built several more businesses that own and lease coal properties, then relocated his company headquarters to High Point, North Carolina. Pigman, who earned a mining engineering scholarship to UK, routinely initiates and financially supports programs that connect high school youth with engineering and technology. A longtime advocate for Project Lead the Way in Eastern Kentucky schools, Pigman and his wife, Karen, recently committed to funding 16 new high school chapters of the Kentucky Technology Student Association. The Pigmans have not only endowed need-based scholarships within the UK College of Engineering, but he and his family provide scholarships for 70 UK engineering students each year. Their scholarships have benefited more than 200 Pigman scholars thus far, including 20 first-year students this fall. Pigman sits on the University of Kentucky College of Engineering Dean's Advisory Council, the Mining Engineering Foundation, the President's Capital Campaign Committee, and the UK College of Engineering Capital Campaign Committee. He's endowed the L. Stanley Pigman Chair in Power and helped fund the Spark Lab in UK's Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Pigman was inducted into the UK College of Engineering Hall of Distinction in 2009, and the university awarded him an honorary degree of Humane Letters in 2017. Please welcome to the stage L. Stanley Pigman.
I'd like to thank the Alumni Association and the University of Kentucky for this recognition. I'm truly appreciative and thankful. Karen and I are having the time of our life working with students. We enjoy working with high school students and leading them to UK, especially engineering. But what we really love is working with and mentoring our scholarship students, who are almost always first gen. And what we do is we walk the pathway with them through what is engineering school. And frankly, there's a lot of obstacles along the way for first gen students, but we help them and they graduate. And the best part is watching them graduate and launch their career. Then later we follow them and we watch them blossom their families and their careers. This is the most rewarding work we think we could be doing, and we plan to do this for the rest of our life. So again, thank you. We're very humbled and honored.
Eugene Poole Jr. received an Associate of Science degree from Hopkinsville Community College in 1980 and a Bachelor of Arts in Architecture from the College of Design in 1985. Eugene Poole Jr. of District Heights, Maryland, is the Jurisdiction Executive and the Senior Project Executive of the U.S. Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. The Hopkinsville, Kentucky native is an architect and certified project construction manager with over 30 years of professional design and construction management executive level experience. His work includes Air Force defense initiatives and Joint Air Force Navy and Air Force Army MILCON construction projects overseas and within the United States. Poole is a decorated former United States Air Force officer who was honorably discharged after serving 3 tours of duty. His private industry architectural work includes hotel resorts, high schools, colleges, high-end mixed use and retail buildings, casino and gaming resorts, private residences, urban planning, civic and religious facilities, healthcare facilities, airfield runway restoration repair, and pilot training support facilities. His more recent government projects include the globally iconic U.S. Capitol Dome Restoration Project, U.S. Supreme Court, Library of Congress, Senate and House office buildings, design construction for 3 U.S. presidential inaugural ceremonies, the ongoing design and management of the new U.S. Capitol Visitor Center Exhibition Hall Museum, and he currently serves on numerous professional industry boards. The aggregate total of his professional career accomplishments, including the Capitol Complex construction and management programs, are at nearly $5.7 billion. Poole is an ordained preacher and a former professor of religion and philosophy. He holds 2 bachelor's degrees and 4 master's degrees from institutions which include the University of Kentucky, George Washington University, and Maple Springs Baptist Bible College and Seminary. He is currently a 4.0 PhD candidate studying Eastern and Western religion philosophy and spiritual counseling at the Howard University School of Divinity in Washington, D.C. Please welcome to the stage, Eugene Poole Jr.
Wow, it's been a long time coming. And first and foremost, I want to recognize the creator of the universe. I want to give all honor to God, because without him, none of this could be possible. Then secondly, I want to recognize family and friend. I want to recognize my 2 daughters, lovely wife. I want to recognize that my cousins who have came here, the Lynch family. I want to recognize Arnold and Ruth. I want to recognize Wendell and Bonnie, who have made the trek and the journey here, and then so many other friends that have come here, because I recognize that none of this is done in a vacuum. We can do none of this by ourselves. There's great support systems that are all around us. So there are many steps that allowed me to get here tonight. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. So I'm just overwhelmed. I want to thank the alumni committee. I'm not even sure how I even got on the list. I figured they probably just needed to find a quota, and I was the last one, so they just added me on. But I'm so grateful for that. And I will let you know that you will never get 2 minutes out of a preacher. But I'm going to do the best I can. Dr. Eli Capilouto, wow, just amazing, just amazing. I'm gonna tell a short story. Dr. Capilouto came to Washington, and I tell you what, I'm his biggest fan. But when he came there are certain graces that I'm able to provide. And one of those great graces I was able to provide to him was be able to take him up into the Capitol Dome. So he and I, we locked arms together and we went up the stairs together, and we stood outside on the balcony, on the balustrade, all the way to the top. And it is an amazing experience if you've ever been afforded the opportunity to do that. That was a high point of my career. Another high point of my career was just being able to go to Washington, to work there at the Capitol, to walk in the halls of justice and the halls of history. All of the things that have transpired, the things that have made this country great, the things of us, because it is recognized as the citadel of democracy, that we are civilized, and we're the ones that other countries and other nations look to for guidance. So I want to thank the alumni committee, and I also want to recognize my mother, who knew of this award that was coming up. Well, we lost her in March of this year. Her name was Wanella Frankie Lynch Poole. Now, I want you to embed that into your spiritual mind. Never forget that name, because she is here with me tonight. And as I get ready to close, I want to tell you that I'm standing in the midst of some amazing people. You've done amazing things. And I'm so grateful and honored just to be in the midst of you. And I want to say to that child or that person who is watching right now, who's looking via the World Wide Web of streaming, who has doubts about anything that they could do with their lives, I want to say to you this, that your life is like a book. Your life is like a movie. You write the chapter line by line. You set the plot. You write the musical score. You even select the cast to be in your movie or your book. And it's you, only you, who can determine by your choices whether or not your book or your movie is going to be a box office smash or whether it's going to end up on the cutting room floor. Only you can decide that. So as I get ready to close, I just really want to thank everyone who had considered me for this great honor. This is the pinnacle of my career. And after this, I look forward in my next career, in the next chapter of my life, as I move toward retirement, to do humanitarian work, working with children as I've done over the past few years in schools in DC, mentoring them, giving back to the community. Because I think without service to others, making a commitment to help someone else along the way, all of this that we've done with our lives, all of the things that we poured out, that we call and we reserve as being grand, it has little to no value. We must learn to pass it on. So I say to you tonight, thank you. I'm deeply humble. I'm deeply gracious. And I wish you all the grandest of everything in your lives as you continue to go forward. Thank you so much.
Tommy L. Preston received a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism from the College of Communication and Information in 1956. Tommy Preston of Nashville, Tennessee, founded the Preston Group in 1968, a consulting services firm that expanded into 42 states and the District of Columbia, leading to many national recognitions. Preston began his career as the youngest Kentucky newspaper editor in 1956 at the Carrollton News Democrat, where he was born, and used unusual strategies and tactics to impact results for clients representing corporations, institutions, and themselves as circumstances dictated. Later, his training in the U.S. Army proved beneficial for subsequent counterterrorism efforts, and he founded Preston Global, a companion firm for strategies and training to attenuate violence at schools and other venues. He also conducted studies about foreign and domestic terrorist cell capabilities. He was senior advisor to Governor and U.S. Senator Wendell Ford and appointed executive director of the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security by Governor Steve Beshear. He became the first such director to complete the U.S. Army War College National Security Program. Preston has been involved with many organizations, such as the Kentucky Council on Public Higher Education, Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, the International Association of Counterterrorism Professionals, the National Center for State Courts Advisory Council, and the American Negotiation Advisory Board. He is enshrined on the Florida Public Relations Association's Wall of Fame and was also the first Kentuckian elected to the Public Relations Society of America College of Fellows. Please welcome to the stage, Tommy L. Preston.
We've taken enough of these.
At this stage of the program, I may have to be Mr. Echo a little bit because of some things that have already been said more than once, but they're worth saying again. When you follow someone who just seated me, it makes it even tougher. That is quite a speech, and a remarkable one, because you're a remarkable individual. Mark Twain once said that, and I love this, praises are our wages. And if that's really true, and I think I've had more than my share of praises, but not my share of wages. If that's really true, tonight I received a heck of a bonus. And I'm so grateful for that. My appreciation overflows in granting this honor, as I know that all of us who have spoken and will speak feel the same way. It was been referred to, but we don't fly solo. We fly with a crew and with assistance from all quarters that make our flights successful. And I could stand here for the rest of the night and talk about individuals who have been teammates, who have been helpmates, starting with my family. And I can't thank them enough, because I wouldn't be here, as some others have said, without their help. But I'd like to also pay tribute to you in this audience. I see men and women who have excelled in so many ways throughout your lives. Not only for your community, not only for this university, not only for your state, but also for your nation. You deserve honors like those we have received. I am so grateful for people like you. I'm so grateful to be in the company of leaders like you. How did I get into this thing anyway? I really did. I slipped in, and I'm so glad I did. I would like to also say that there are men and women whose lives have been just dedicated to service to others. I think that influence comes from not only an institution like the University of Kentucky, but other institutions. But it has to start right here. It has to start right here. It has to continue up here. And it's influenced, again, by people like you. There's another group I would like to speak to, and that is a remarkable team that faithfully energizes this institution that is 1.5 centuries old. Without that favorite and faithful team. I don't know where this institution would be, but you know who you are, no matter your job, no matter your position, no matter how long you've been here, you have this engine in great shape. And that leads me to Mr. President. I think from looking from outside in, that you've earned a new designation, besides being president, the 12th president of this university. And that designation is that you are a 5-star admiral. Yes, there are 4 admirals in the military history of the United States that made 5 stars. But you're a 5-star admiral for the simple reason, and it isn't simple, that you have steered this university through stormy seas, through high waves, through weather of all sorts, and with your engine operating so smoothly because of your leadership, I have great, great, great expectations and faith in the future of the University of Kentucky. And I think we all do in this room. And so, in conclusion, sir, I salute you. I don't know who this is.
Laura M. Schwab received a Juris Doctor in Law from the J. David Rosenberg College of Law in 1998. Laura M. Schwab of San Clemente, California, is the Global Sales and Marketing Officer of Rivian, the electric car company, launching several new vehicles this year and electrifying Amazon's worldwide delivery fleet. From 2015 through 2020, she was president of Aston Martin the Americas, the first female to serve in this role in the company's history, and one of only 2 women to ever hold this title in the automotive industry. She was responsible for overseeing sales, service, marketing, and communications to dealers and customers across 2 continents. During her tenure, the Americas became the company's largest sales region in the world. Schwab was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, where her academic achievements complemented her skills on the tennis court, earning a full tennis scholarship to the University of Notre Dame. She double majored in government and Spanish. Attending law school at UK opened up a variety of career options, and after graduating, she chose to move to California to work for an automotive industry startup. From there, she joined Jaguar Land Rover, where she would spend the next 15 years. Most recently, as its global head of marketing based in England. Throughout her career, Schwab has championed the empowerment of women in the workplace and has spent her time helping to advance the careers of others along the way. Please welcome to the stage, Laura M. Schwab.
Well, I really can't believe I'm standing here, and I love when people read my bio. It makes it sound like it was so easy. I have been a Kentucky fan since the day I was born, and in fact, I mean, like seriously, I didn't wear the color red until like almost a year ago. So thanks for that, Dad. Upon graduating Notre Dame with the incredibly marketable double major of government and Spanish, what are you going to do with those degrees? I attended the University of Kentucky Law School. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I actually didn't know what I was good at other than tennis along the way. And I didn't really know what the right place was for me. Law school tested my resiliency. It tested my strength. It also helped me learn a very valuable lesson along the way. No one can take away personal determination to become a leader and make a difference in the world. I learned this from my professors. I even learned this again today from the dean, but I also learned it from my two best friends that I met in law school that are here with me tonight. I fell into the automotive world. Again, it sounded so easy, but once I decided that I wasn't going to practice law, I packed up my bags, I moved to California, and I begged for employment, and I couldn't get a job. Thank goodness I had my law degree on my resume because people assumed I must be pretty brilliant to have a law degree from the University of Kentucky. It's not been easy navigating an industry that is almost completely male-dominated, holding a title that only 2 women have ever held in the history of the automotive industry. I've been told to cut my hair. I've been told that I need to wear more suits. And I've been told often that I smile way too much and no one will ever take me seriously. And when I hear that one, I always say, well, you wouldn't understand. It's a Kentucky thing. All of these decisions have led me to my current role at Rivian. And I loved the way you talked about Rivian. We are literally changing the planet and we are changing the world for our kids and our kids' kids. It is clear that leaders can take on many shapes, forms, and personalities. We can all be leaders and make a difference and do it in a way that brings others with us. I saw this along the way in the automotive world because as I would look at the boardroom, I would typically, if maybe I would see one woman in that boardroom and I would watch women beat each other down to try to get to that one seat. Instead, I and a group of people, we started to champion making sure there wasn't one seat at the table, there were multiples. I am forever thankful for my family that is here with me tonight. My mom is my idol. My daughter's actually named after her. She's my greatest champion. She taught me to never underestimate myself, that I could knock down any closed door. My dad taught me to be humble, the humility that you learn through the ups and downs of life. And yes, you can be successful and still be very nice. My brother and my sister and their spouses are here with me this evening. They have loved me through every move. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of moves, every crazy idea, and they've supported me across all the miles. Last by no means least, my husband. I was convinced for a very long time, the only way for me to blaze a trail meant that I had to do it alone. And then I met Nick when I moved to England. And I learned not only could the right person make me better, he made me a better person, a better manager, a better friend, literally a better everything. It takes a pretty incredible person to live with me through all of the decisions that I've made along the way. So thank you, Nick. For my 5-year-old daughter, Marie, the goal is she will never be one of 2 of anything. So UK Law School, thank you so much for pushing me so hard. Thank you for being there for me through some difficult times, through my greatest challenges, but also through my greatest accomplishments. Also, most importantly, thank you for allowing me to put something on my resume that made people think I was really smart so I could get my first job. Thank you all so much. I've been so humbled to sit here this evening and hear these incredible stories. I'm so, so thrilled and honored. And as many people have said, especially for tomorrow, go Big Blue.
William E. Seal received a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry from the College of Arts and Sciences in 1963. a Master of Science in Agricultural Economics from the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment in 1969, and his PhD in 1975. William Seal of Annapolis, Maryland, and Key Largo, Florida, is a partner in the Pro Funds Group. As Chief Investment Officer, he developed the financial models and investment techniques that direct the investments of the over 200 pro shares and pro funds. Seal is a professor emeritus of finance at George Washington University, where he had been chairman of the Department of Finance and senior associate dean of the business school. He also was engaged in a consulting and expert witness practice through his firm, Financial Markets Group Incorporated. Seal was a commissioner on the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, worked as government relations vice president for a New York futures exchange, and was a senior legislative assistant to U.S. Senator Walter D. Huddleston of Kentucky. He has been involved in many organizations, such as the Kansas City Board of Trade, the New York Cotton Exchange, the New York Board of Trade, and the New York Futures Exchange. Seal was a member of Pi Kappa Alpha at UK. He was named to the UK College of Agriculture Hall of Distinguished Alumni, served as a community member on the UK Board of Trustees Investment Committee, and is on the St. Mary's College of Maryland Board of Trustees. Seal is also an active pilot who owns several airplanes and holds a private pilot certificate with instrument and seaplane ratings. Accepting on his behalf is UK and his grandson, Will Seal.
Hey guys. I know everyone will appreciate me keeping this short. I'm very proud of all my grandfather's accomplishments, and I'm honored to accept this award on his behalf. Thank you, and go Cats.
Charles L. Shearer received a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from the Gatton College of Business and Economics in 1964 and a Master of Arts in Economics and International Diplomacy in 1967. Charles L. Shearer of Louisville, Kentucky, is the former president of Transylvania University in Lexington, Kentucky. He served as Transylvania's 24th president and is the longest serving president in the university's history after 27 years in office. Shearer helped grow the institution's student enrollment by more than 75%, with corresponding growth in the number of faculty members and majors offered. Financial aid and scholarship programs increased exponentially under his leadership. Ratings for the university's academic quality attained unprecedented heights, and the school's endowment grew to an all-time high. A number of state-of-the-art buildings and facilities were added during Shearer's tenure, and he oversaw the school's transition from scholarship-based NAIA to the non-scholarship Division III of the NCAA. Shearer started as an instructor in economics and accounting at Henderson Community College, then served as an assistant professor of economics at Ferris State University. At Michigan State University, he was a graduate assistant in the Department of Economics. He also served as Director of Operations and the Director of the Liberal Arts Program in Professional Management at Albion College. Shearer was named Vice President for Finance at Transylvania University in 1979, before becoming president in 1983. Shearer also holds a master's degree and PhD in economics from Michigan State University. He was awarded an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree from Transylvania in 2010 and an honorary Doctor of Letters degree from UK in 2012 for his lifetime service to higher education. Charles was unable to join us tonight, but he sent us this video to share.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for this very special recognition and honor. It's indeed a privilege to be inducted into the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. I'm grateful to all those individuals over the many years who've had an uplifting impact on my life. And when you honor me, you honor them as well. They include my family, my wife Susan, and our 3 sons, who've always been at my side, very supportive and encouraging. Of course, my late parents, who were always there for me and made it possible for me to attend the University of Kentucky. I'm also grateful to my teachers and professors, especially those that took an interest in me while maintaining high standards and expectations of excellence. I value and appreciate the support of my mentors, colleagues, and other friends who were helpful and never wavered in their support over the decades. I'm grateful to the University of Kentucky for the education that I received. The Gatton College of Business and Economics, which was known during my time as the College of Commerce, and the Patterson School of Diplomacy and International Commerce provided me with a strong foundation for my career, preparation for life, and for further education. The university offered a vast array of learning and growth opportunities when I enrolled in the fall of 1960, just as it does today. I've never second-guessed my decision to enroll at the University of Kentucky. From the very beginning, I felt as though I'd found my college home. I felt as though I belonged. The campus was welcoming, and the faculty were committed to expecting the very best from their students. In retrospect, I suppose that we all had our favorite professors. I know I did, especially in my accounting and business classes, as well as in my graduate courses in the Patterson School. I feel a deep sense of appreciation for those lessons learned and for those memories that are still with me today. And tonight, the Hall of Fame induction adds to those very special memories. Looking ahead, I wish the University of Kentucky continued success and the very best in all of its endeavors as a national leader in higher education and as Kentucky's flagship university. I also want to thank the staff, the selection committee, and others who helped make tonight's program possible. Thank you very much.
Valerie Still received a Bachelor of Science in Animal Sciences from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment in 2000. Valerie Still of Palmyra, New Jersey, is a former professional basketball player and coach, author, and musician. She also earned a master's degree in African and African American Studies and is finishing her PhD in Sports Humanities at The Ohio State University, where she was a graduate research and teaching associate. She was a member of the UK women's basketball team 1979 through 1983 and holds UK career records, men and women, in scoring 2,763 points and rebounding 1,525 rebounds. Valerie played professional basketball in Italy, hosted her own television show, and was a TV commentator for men's basketball. Later, back home in the USA, she played in the American Basketball League, winning 2 world championships with the Columbus Quest and earning Most Valuable Player for both championship series. She then joined the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, and became an assistant coach with the Mystics and Orlando Miracle. She founded the Valerie Still Foundation, a nonprofit organization that assists youth in their development, and launched Still Java, a socially conscious gourmet coffee company to assist charities and women and children in underdeveloped countries. She is a member of the UK Athletic Hall of Fame inaugural class and was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2019. Valerie Still is a recipient of the Jefferson Award for her public service. As president of the Dr. Clarence B. Jones Institute for Social Advocacy, she continues Dr. Jones' legacy of public service, social justice, and civic engagement through youth empowerment programs and social advocacy. Please welcome to the stage Valerie Still.
Was everybody at the center? Oh, man, where was I? Hello, everybody. Did they bring the coffee around? No, okay. This is such an honor. Just want to thank, first of all, the UK Alumni Association. I never imagined this would happen to me. Out of all the things that have happened in my life, this is just incredible. And in the last 18 months, I've got some people I have to recognize because I'm surprised that I had any people at my table at all, but they showed up tonight, so I have to recognize them. But in the last 18 months with this pandemic, I've been in isolation, and I know we've all gone through our own challenges. And a couple of things that I've learned is just having a heart of gratitude and also the power of silence. So I'm going to try and keep it short here, but I got to introduce the people at my table. But tonight is not about me. This heart of gratitude is about all the people that have been in my life and have put me here tonight. It's been tons of people, friends and foes, people that I thought were my enemy. Every person that I've encountered has gotten me here tonight. And as you get older, you kind of recognize that it's not all about you, but it's about others. So I wasn't going to mention any names, but I got to mention the people at my table, right? So representing I am from the College of Ag. Big Ag family. We have a roundup today is Brent. Thank you for coming over and support me in this, Brent. Have representatives from the women's basketball, West, and his lovely, beautiful wife, Megan, that takes care of him. I have from the University of Taunya Fogel is my former teammate. We won the one and only SEC championship in 1982, hasn't been done again. And if it wasn't for my teammates and my coaches and the staff and everyone involved in that program, I wouldn't have done anything that I've done. So Taunya, I love you, you know I do. We celebrated our 82 championship last year with the rings. And last but not least, Marianne Simmons, Steve Simmons, and Marianne Sims. They were all a part of our women's basketball, WNBA, that was it. Women's basketball at UK had this program where they had families that embraced us and made us feel like we were at home. And that's what UK did. Well, they were doing it across the country, but not like we did it here at UK. And so when I come back, they're family to me. It's like home to me. And then last but not least, in the program, it said I'm from Palmar, New Jersey. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. Camden is always one of the poorest and one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. And I give back to that city all the time. I'm a representative for young people. And I've got a friend of mine, childhood friend, her son is a Kentucky Wildcat. And so he's here with me. Lance Ware was supposed to be here because I know him as well from Camden High School. He couldn't make it because of practice, but I want to make sure to recognize Dwayne, who's here tonight. That's what it's all about. These awards are not about me, but it's about what can I give to the next generation, paying it forward. I would be amiss though, if I did not every time I come back to Lexington. Yesterday I had this feeling that my ancestors, most of you all don't know that my ancestors at the turn of the century, at the turn of the 19th century, were sold as slaves. They were enslaved here in Lexington, Kentucky. And nearly 200 years later, my brother and I come back to the University of Kentucky and we do what we did. It's not an atonement, but it just shows that if you really believe, if you know who you are, they knew they weren't slaves. They were just in this state of being enslaved. And so we come back and I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors and I recognize them, and everything we do eventually comes back. And so their sacrifices, their dedication is not going in vain, because here I stand in saluting them. And next week, October 7th, I'm a direct descendant of William Still. They were William Still's older brothers. William Still worked with Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, John Brown. He was an abolitionist. When he died, he was called the father of the Underground Railroad. And so we're celebrating his 200th birthday in Philadelphia next Thursday. And so I get to represent all of them because I stand on their shoulders. That's why I'm here today. And then last but not least, I recognize the woman that gave me my life, my ride and die, my #1 supporter, my best friend, my spiritual guru, my everything, my mother. If it wasn't for my mother, she raised 10 children along with my father, but she was that solid stone for us. And I always recognize her. In 2 days on Sunday, we'll celebrate her birthday. She passed away in 2010, but I know that she's looking down on me. I know she would be so proud of me, not for the things I do, but who I am. And so I really recognize her. And in leaving, I just want to leave you all with this. I know there's so many successful people in this room. You look around, there's success. I'm on the low level here. There's so many successful people. And you come to a point in your life where it's no longer about success. Success is all about me, right? The recognitions, the money, the fame, the cars, the houses, all those things. And we all know you get to a certain point where you know it's not about success, but it's about significance. What is the legacy that I'm going to leave? What will I make this world better than that place I came into? And I know a lot of us, in these last 18 months, I recognize the pandemic as a growing point for me. That if we don't do anything, we just get hopeless, discouraged. So we have to be able to leave this legacy. It's about service to others, altruism, true altruism, nothing about me, but what can I give back? And so I encourage each one of you. I believe that I know that one pure positive power thought leads to one small act of kindness that leads to self-realization, self-transformation. And from that leads to world transformation. So whenever we're feeling hopeless, and I know a lot of us have in the last year, like, what can I do? I believe in the power of pure positive power thoughts. So every day, just take some time and send out some pure positive power thoughts. And again, I think, sorry for being long-winded, but I took the couple of minutes that my young brother there said he didn't want. So thank you again, and go Big Blue. UK volleyball team. Okay, go Big Blue.
Gregory L. Summey received a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from the College of Engineering in 1978. Gregory L. Summey of Naples, Florida, is the co-founder and co-chairman of Next Gen Acquisition Corporation II, a special purpose acquisition company which has announced a pending merger with Virgin Orbit. He was also the co-founder of Next Gen Acquisition Corporation I, which has merged with Exos Incorporated, a leading manufacturer of electric commercial vehicles. Summey is also the founder and managing partner of Glen Capital Partners, LLC, a value-oriented hedge fund. He was managing director and vice chairman of global buyout at the Carlyle Group from 2009 through 2014, and responsible for the buyout funds and financial services infrastructure, Japan, the Middle East, and Africa. He was also the chairman, CEO, and president of PerkinElmer Incorporated from 1998 through 2009, and a senior advisor to Goldman Sachs Capital Partners from 2008 through 2009. Summey was previously with Allied Signal, now Honeywell International, serving successively as the president of General Aviation Avionics, Aerospace Engines Group, and Automotive Products Group. Earlier, he was the general manager of commercial motors at General Electric and was a partner with McKinsey & Company Incorporated. In addition to serving as co-chairman of Next Gen II, Sumi is a director of NXP Semiconductors NV, the State Street Corporation, Avantor Incorporated, and Pella Corporation. He was previously the chairman of Freescale Semiconductor and Euromax International and co-chairman of NextGen 1. He is a former director of Biomet Incorporated, TRW Corporation, LMI Aerospace, Viance, and Automatic Data Processing. In addition to his Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering, he has a Master of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from the University of Cincinnati and a Master of Business Administration with distinction from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He is in the UK College of Engineering Hall of Distinction. Gregory was unable to join us tonight, but he sent us this video to share.
I'm Greg Sumi. I graduated from the University of Kentucky College of Electrical Engineering in 1978. I'm greatly honored to be recognized as a distinguished alumni among such an accomplished group. My parents would have been incredibly proud. My first grandson was just born in San Francisco, so unfortunately I'm not able to be there in person, but I hope that our paths cross soon. I'm also greatly sorry to miss what I know will be a terrific football game against Florida tomorrow. You know, the University of Kentucky is a great institution, and I have really wonderful memories of my time on campus. But I'm also struck by how our lives have taken many unexpected turns since our graduation. Many of us are working on things quite different from what we anticipated at the time. But you know, that's the power of a great education, teaching you critical reasoning so you can continue to adapt as the world changes. I hope you have an amazing evening and weekend and hope to meet you in person soon. Thank you for your time and congratulations to my fellow honorees.
Paul C. Varga received a Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance from the Gatton College of Business and Economics in 1985. Paul Varga of Louisville, Kentucky was elected President and Chief Executive Officer of Brown-Forman Corporation in 2005 and became chairman of the company in 2007 before retiring in 2018. He's been a member of the company's board of directors since 2003. Prior to becoming CEO, he served as president and CEO of the company's Brown-Forman Beverages subsidiary and served as senior vice president and chief marketing officer for Brown-Forman Beverages. During Varga's tenure at Brown-Forman, he partnered with the University of Kentucky's Alcohol and Health Education Office to support alcohol awareness and education programs on campus. He was inducted into the UK Gatton College Alumni Hall of Fame in 2009 and is a recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award from the UK Lewis Honors College. Varga is a charter member of the UK Tennis Hall of Fame and a Kentucky Tennis Hall of Fame inductee. He was a two-time All Southeastern Conference performer, both athletically and academically, became UK's second player to ever qualify for NCAA singles competition, and is the second winningest tennis player in the school's history. Varga also earned his master's in business administration at Purdue University in 1987. Paul is unable to join us tonight, but he did send us this video to share.
Well, good evening, everyone. First, congratulations to all the recipients on this wonderful recognition that is being celebrated tonight. I wish I could be there to celebrate it with all of you, but my daughter's volleyball tournament in Phoenix has taken priority on this particular occasion. But thanks to modern technology, I'm still able to express my appreciation for this award through video. So I just want to say how honored I am to be inducted, and I want to be sure to thank the University of Kentucky community and specifically the University of Kentucky Alumni Association. I've come to believe two things about the practice of recognition. The first is that all recognition should be cherished, and the second that is all recognition should be shared, as I believe we do very little in the world alone. So I do genuinely cherish tonight's induction. When I consider how many superb graduates of the University of Kentucky there are, spanning even the last 36 years since I graduated. Well, it's beyond special to be called out among such a large group. And of course, I do share this honor tonight with all those who have both helped me, who have taught me, who have coached me, who have parented me, and generally loved and supported me. Most notably, I share and thank my immediate family, who means everything to me. So thanks again to the University of Kentucky community. Congratulations to all of this year's recipients, and my sincere wishes for a memorable evening.
Paul R. Wagner received a Bachelor of Arts in English from the College of Arts and Sciences in 1970 and a Master of Arts in Communications from the College of Communication and Information in 1972. Paul Wagner of Charlottesville, Virginia, is an Academy Award and Emmy Award-winning independent filmmaker who has received multiple grants of support from the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities. Wagner's documentaries and dramatic features have premiered at the Sundance, Toronto, Telluride, and Rotterdam film festivals. His films include Miles of Smiles, Years of Struggle, about the first African-American labor union. Signature, George C. Wolfe, a portrait of the New York theatrical writer and director. Thoroughbred, an inside look at the world of big-time horse racing, produced for Kentucky Educational Television. And Out of Ireland, a history of Irish immigration to America, featuring Liam Neeson and Gabriel Byrne. His Windhorse was the first digital feature film shot secretly inside China and Nepal, receiving awards for Best U.S. Feature Film and Best Director at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. His collaborations with scholars, including several at the Smithsonian Institution, have resulted in films such as Good Work, Masters of the Building Arts, and The Stone Carvers, which won an Oscar for Best Short Documentary. In 2018, Black in Blue told a story of triumph and tragedy about UK football players Nate Northington, Greg Page, Houston Hogg, and Wilbur Hackett, the men who broke the color line in the Southeastern Conference. His current film project is a feature documentary about the artist Georgia O'Keeffe. Please welcome to the stage, Paul R. Wagner.
I want to express my thanks to the Alumni Association and to the University of Kentucky. And I want to thank especially my wife, Ellen, and our kids, Casey, Frankie, Danny, and Mary, who are with me tonight. Makes it a special evening for me. I've had an incredible career. To hear it read off, it's wonderful. I'm flattered. But more than the achievements, it's the satisfaction and the joy of the work that we've been able to do, much of it with working with Ellen. And thinking back on that, when I stepped onto this campus in the fall of 1966, none of that was imaginable. I think I was in a little bit of a fog at that time in my life, like a lot of us when we start our undergraduate careers. And to think that I might have a family, a career, and just the joy of that kind of work in creative endeavor was really miles from my imagination. So I want to thank this university for opening two doors for me. The first door was opened 50 years ago, and it was the door to the life of the mind, the door to ideas and emotions and aspirations and dreams, and the thought that I might find for myself a life of creative energy, that I really didn't understand was in my grasp until it was pointed out to me and encouraged by some remarkable teachers and great fellow students also. That's the first door. The second door is one that is fully open tonight. Over the last few years, I've felt a greater and greater tug back to this place. And that really came to fruition in the film that was mentioned earlier, Black and Blue, where I actually found myself talking about my memories of my time here at UK. Some tough memories, as many of you know this story, and some joyful ones about great breakthroughs that were made in terms of social justice and racial justice here on this campus. And so tonight, I want to thank the university for opening that second door, returning me to the university and this Commonwealth that has defined who I am, no matter where I travel, what I achieve, or what meaning I find in this life. So thank you for opening that second door and welcoming me back to this place that is and always will be my home. Thanks very much.
John A. Williams received a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from the Gatton College of Business and Economics in 1962. John A. Williams of Paducah, Kentucky, is the founding executive of Computer Services Incorporated, headquartered in Paducah, and is now Chairman Emeritus. His career also includes accounting and management consulting with Arthur Anderson and Company in St. Louis, and serving in the U.S. Army Signal Corps from 1963 to 1965. Directing the development of experimental data processing systems at the 7th Army Headquarters in Germany. He has been active in many organizations, such as the Association of Financial Technology, President, Boy Scouts of Kentucky and Tennessee, President, Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, Vice President, Federal Reserve Louisville, Chairman, among others. Williams also lectured on banking technology at UK, LSU, Nebraska, and Georgia, and he was a faculty member at Paducah Community College. John also served on state commissions, such as the Kentucky State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, Kentuckians for Excellence in Education Task Force, the Higher Education Study Task Force, and the Tax Reform Commission, and was founding co-chairman of the Leadership Institute for School Principals. Williams received the Entrepreneurship Award from Murray State University and an honorary doctorate. He has received the Paducah Chamber of Commerce Summit Award, the Leadership Kentucky Flame of Excellence Award, and is in the Gatton College of Business and Economics Hall of Fame and the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. The college also has a classroom and an endowed scholarship in his name. Please welcome to the stage, John A. Williams.
All right, well, that's fine. Thank you. Given the hour, I'll try to be brief. Jill Smith and your team, congratulations. What you've put together here has been remarkable, looking at all the details you've provided us, and you've done a wonderful job. The only suggestion I would have is putting this thing alphabetically kind of creates some stress for some of us. It's my pleasure tonight to have one of our 3 sons and one of our 8 grandkids here. My wife Vivian is not very mobile at this point, but my son Kevin is the one who got an MBA at the Gatton School, and his son Eli is currently a senior in a prep school in Utah.
And Eli, your grandmother wanted me to tell you that I proposed marriage on the front steps of Holmes Hall across the street 59 years ago. And she regrets not being here tonight. I've reflected on, in preparation for this event, the wonderful faculty that I have the pleasure of being around. And I'm not going to go through those individually, except that I've kind of concluded I ought to focus on about 5 or 6 names. And the first was Dr. Bill Ecton, who became dean of the Gatton School. I was his first advisee. And Dr. Hahn concluded that Bill Ecton needed to have a tough student to work him over on his first round. And I was. And then if you look at my record, there's a couple of classes called Independent Study in Economics that are on my degree. Bill was a teacher on one end of the log and I was a student on the other. We had some great times studying things that weren't offered in the classroom, primarily in taxation area. I've had in the last few years exposure to 3 other great deans, Dr. Siddhartham, and then David Blackwell, and now Simon Sheether in the Gatton School. And I just want to take this moment to say thank you for their leadership. It's been outstanding. It's going to be redundant, but it's deserving that I pause and also say thank you to Eli Capilouto for his leadership in keeping this university forefront of in the Commonwealth. And now it's occurred to me as the comments have been made tonight that there's only 4 business graduates among the 27. Dean Sheether, I think we need to figure out how we increase that figure next year or 5 years from now. But it also brings to mind 2 thoughts. The first is that I'm from the College of Commerce, and the next one following me, Terry Woodford as well, both accounting majors. But it's interesting, the River Park Center Performing Arts Facility in Owensboro was spearheaded and caused by your next speaker. And I'm the primary person given credit for creating the Carson Center in Paducah. So here you got these business heads doing things in the arts world, just so that you understand that that can happen on a give back basis. The other item I want to share is, Davis, I think you were the one who was talking about the pay level. When I graduated in 1962, it was reported that Anderson Consulting, I was in their original Anderson Consulting group, that my pay was the top in overall engineering students in 1962. So just for what it's worth, for those of you out there trying to make a choice for the future, there is a world on the side of business in addition to this great engineering. I'm humbled by the honor. Thank you. And I very much appreciate it, but I think it's time that we wrap this program up pretty shortly. Thank you.
Terry Woodward received a Bachelor of Science in Commerce from the Gatton College of Business and Economics in 1963. Terry Woodward of Owensboro, Kentucky, is the owner and CEO of Waxworks Incorporated, one of the nation's leading authorized wholesale home entertainment distributors. Located in Owensboro, Waxworks is one of the largest video distributors in America, servicing online and retail accounts nationwide. Terry has long been of service to the business community. He was chairman of the International Bluegrass Music Association during the first 3 years of its existence, a board member of the Country Music Association, a board member and chairman of the National Association of Recording Merchandisers, and a trustee and chairman of the International Bluegrass Music Museum, renamed the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum in 2018. Incorporated magazine named him Entrepreneur of the Year in 1990. He was awarded the IBMA Distinguished Achievement Award in 2005 and was inducted into the IBMA Bluegrass Hall of Fame in 2018. Woodward worked part-time at Waxworks, Owensboro's only record shop, as a teenager. After graduating from UK, he worked at Texas Instruments, the Owensboro Davis County Hospital, and Modern Welding Company. In 1968, he returned full-time to Waxworks, which was a record store as well as a one-stop distributor of recorded product to other retail outlets. The company's disc jockey division expanded to include 230 retail outlets in 37 states and the fifth largest music chain in the nation before being sold in 2000 to focus on its DVD distribution business. Please welcome to the stage Terry Woodward.
Well, I'm the last one. That's my bedtime. I'm going to summarize everything here tonight. That's what the last person does, right? I think it's obvious that all of the inductees tonight loves the University of Kentucky. I think everybody tonight had what amazing stories. When I left this campus in 1964, I never dreamed I'd be standing up here tonight. Probably the best decision I've made in my life was to come to the University of Kentucky. When I graduated from high school, I had no plans to go to college. I had a vocation. I was a draftsman. And I actually worked for Johnny Depp's grandfather in Owensboro. He had a civil engineering company. And I got a job. Well, I was sitting there making minimum wage. I kept seeing these engineers come in making all this money. So I decided I probably need to get an education. So I saved $200. I got my car in 1958 and I drove to Lexington and enrolled in engineering because that's where the money was, Davis, at the time. Eisenhower had this interstate program going on and civil engineers, that was the vocation then. Well, after 2 years, my heart just wasn't in engineering. Well, UK had a degree at that time called industrial administration. I don't know if that exists anymore, but it was 2 years engineering and 2 years business. So I entered the business school and a light bulb went off. I found my calling when I went into business. I think John mentioned he'd spent 12 years at UK. Well, I crammed 4 years into 8 years. It's not as bad as it sounds. I had to drop out a couple of times and work and save some more money because, Pete, I didn't get a scholarship either. Hell, tuition was $67 a semester when I was here. And I had to get a part-time job to survive downtown. But proudest moment of my life was when I walked across that stage in Memorial Coliseum and they handed me that diploma. Governor, our ex-governor Beshear said, when you get a degree at Kentucky, you have all the confidence in the world. And that's true. When I left here, I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. A lot of y'all knew what you were going to do. I didn't. I just knew I wanted to work. I wanted to make a living. Well, in 1968, I had the opportunity to go in the entertainment business. A lot of entertainment people here tonight, as it turns out. Well, I spent over the last 50 years in the entertainment business, so I haven't worked a day in my life. I want to thank UK. The professors I had were the best. And the education has enriched me and my family all these years. I make a contribution to Kentucky every year, but I will never be able to repay them for what they meant for my life. Thank you very much.
Please join me in giving another round of well-deserved applause to the 27 newest inductees into the University of Kentucky Alumni Association Hall of Distinction. To end our time together tonight, we have a special treat for you. Please help me in welcoming Kentucky's premier all-male a cappella ensemble, the University of Kentucky Acousticats.
Hail Kentucky, alma mater, loyal sons and daughters sing. Sound your praise with voice united, to the breeze her colors fling. To the blue and white we're true, true Kentucky unto thee. Teach each generation new, never fail in loyalty. Hail the ever old Kentucky, glorious is thy heritage. Proud thy name and thy traditions, proud thy place on history's page. May we never forget thy fame, mother of the great and free. May we e'er uphold thy name, old Kentucky, hail to thee.
The sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer, the people are gay. The corn tops ripe and the meadows in the bloom, while the birds make music all the day. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times comes a knocking at the door. Then my old Kentucky home, good night.
Oh, weep no more, my lady, oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home. Far away, far away, far away.
Thank you to the Acousticats for joining us on this special evening. What a wonderful performance. We appreciate each of you for being here this evening. Congratulations to our newest members of the University of Kentucky Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Good night.
I got lost before.